A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all-old-time radio.
Countdown for blast off. X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, X minus 1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents
X minus 1.
Tonight, Caretaker by James A. Schmitz.
Commander Lowndes?
Yes, Mr. Harris.
Astrogation reports planetary orbit secure.
What vector, Mr. Harris?
Approximately 1,000 miles above subject planet 3785.
Well, we'll have to give it a name soon, Harris.
Yes, sir. Engineering secured. Damage control parties working on the hull.
Very well. Has Martyr touched down in the scout ship?
Yes, sir. We have him on the tight beam.
Give him to me on my screen.
Yes, sir. Sparkman, put Martyr on the command screen.
Exploration ship Titan calling ship 375. Come in.
Scout 375 reporting.
What's it like down there, Martyr?
It's not much different from the scan report, sir. I'm at the head of a valley. It's green and it's scarlet. It's all swampy. And there's a big river threading through it.
Harris, get me a pinpoint on Martyr's location.
Aye, aye, sir.
There are mountains beyond. I can see Holman's house from here. Looks like a Swiss chalet standing over the lake.
Have you made contact?
Yes, sir. Boyce is over there now.
How is he?
Well, it's hard to say.
Tell him we're recording the planet officially as Holman's planet. That might please him.
No, I don't think so, sir.
What?
Boyce suggested that during our first visit with Holman today, he wants us to record it instead as, well, I'll spell it. Cresgyth, Cresget.
What's that, local?
Well, that's his phonetic interpretation of the name the people here use.
Fair enough, if that's how he wants it. Anything to add on your present report?
No, sir. I'll call you back after we've met his woman.
His wife?
Yes, sir.
I'm glad it was you and Boyce who found Holman. You're reliable men, you in particular. Martyr, I don't need to emphasize that Holman's discovery of what appears to be the first genuine human race ever encountered outside of Earth is of primary importance.
Yes, sir.
Boyce might be inclined to hurry through the diplomatic overtures. You'll be careful about that part of it, Martha.
Yes, very careful, sir.
On the 2 continents we've scanned before, we've found no traces of human inhabitants, present or past.
Yes, I know, sir, but Holman's...
It's possible Holman's acquaintances are the sole survivors of humanity here. If we frighten the tribe into hiding, there may never be another contact.
Yes, I understand, sir.
Fine. Now then, what about these other creatures? What did Holman have to say about them?
Well, in the 20 years he's been marooned in this valley, he's had only 3 or 4 actual encounters with them, sir. Rather violent encounters on his side. Apparently they learned to avoid him after that. They're called Zares. He seems to have an almost psychopathic hatred for them.
That's not very surprising. We pulled up a scout drag a little while ago, bagged a couple of specimens. The description checks with Holman's description of the Zares, the worm-like, slimy, blue body with a set of arms, legs, and head. Out of the water, they seem to wear some kind of clothes, presumably to conserve body moisture.
Yes, that's what he said.
All right now, Martyr. I want you to continue according to the plan. And remember, be careful of Holman. He's been alone on this planet for 22 years. He deserves a lot from us.
Yes, sir. But he hasn't been alone. He has his wife. Boys, where are you?
Down here. I'm with Holman. Check in with the exploration ship?
Yes, it's all right. Holman, they say they'll name the planet the way you want it.
That's good. Celia will like that.
Celia?
My wife. I called her Celia from the start. She likes the name.
I see.
Where's she now?
Oh, she's out somewhere. She's very timid. She'll show up sometime in the night, and I'm leaving the doors open for her. I'll talk to her a little first to reassure her, and you can meet her then. Meanwhile, would you like to see her picture?
Why, you got photographs?
No, I painted it. I used to do a little bit before I went into service. It's over here. I've done about 50 or so paintings over the years. I paint a lot of them over, you know. Here, in here. I grind my own pigments and cut brushes from the swamp grass. I'd give my arm for a good camel's hair brush. Here she is.
Beautiful.
Real good looking.
Of course, it isn't an exact likeness. I tried to capture the spirit. I think I've got it pretty good.
Well, there's something about that picture sort of...
Never mind, boys. Boyce doesn't know much about art.
Yeah, but I know what I like. I like a good-looking woman. You're a lucky man, Holman.
You wanted to see the Deepwater well. It's right through here. Actually, it's just an opening through the concrete to the river that runs below. It's as pure as anything you could wish. If they want to refresh the water tanks at the ship...
Yes, I'll take it up with the captain. We'll be staying a week or more. We're to follow your judgment in every way in establishing contact with the Crescittians.
Good. We can't do anything till Celia comes in, and we'll have to be very tactful then. But I'm sure it won't take a week.
Well, what makes them so shy of us?
Oh, it's not you, it's me. Or it's an impression I gave them of the Earth kind of human beings. Come on upstairs and I'll tell you. Cigar? It's a local swamp grass.
Is it safe?
Oh, I've been smoking them for years.
You were telling us about the native humans.
Well, I've never asked Celia much about her people. There's some kind of very strong taboo that keeps her from talking about them.
How'd you meet her?
Well, our ship crashed into the valley originally. I was the only man left in the original crew of 4. Manning went insane 2 days before we made a planetfall and killed Nichols and Dawson. And so I killed Manning before he could wreck the ship completely. Have you got a light, Marta?
Thanks, I'm all right.
You see, it was unavoidable, but they never understood it, those people of Celia's.
Well, how did they find out?
I was unconscious for about a month and completely blind for 6 months afterward.
Blind?
Well, they got me out of the wreck and nursed me back to life. But as soon as I was out of danger, only Celia would stay with me. She and I were alone for weeks before I regained my sight. How did they know I killed the others? Well, they're sensitive in a number of ways, and there were those bodies in the ship. They withdrew from me as soon as I no longer needed their help.
Then in all this time you were never able to gain their confidence?
It's not a question of confidence. It's a question of, well, I'm trying to tell you. I didn't mind being alone with Celia. You'll understand that when you see her. The others stayed in a small lake village they had a couple of miles up the valley across the swamps. Celia went up there every few days, but she never brought anyone back with her. I suspected it was simply because I was an alien. I thought they'd get over that in time. Celia seemed happy enough, so it wasn't a very acute problem.
Well, could you observe them?
Well, one day, when she'd slipped away again, I remembered a pair of field glasses I'd taken off the ship, and I got them and trained them on the village. That was a very curious experience. I never found a complete explanation for it.
Well, what happened?
Well, just for one instant, I had everything in the clearest possible focus. There were children playing on the platforms above the water, a few adults standing in the doorways of a house, and suddenly everything went blurred.
Well, something go wrong with the glasses?
No. They didn't want me to look at them. They just blurred my vision.
What do you mean?
What, you mean telepathically?
Well, I don't know. The glasses had a 4-mile range, and they were functioning perfectly. But the instant I turned them on the village, the field blurred. Well, I never felt so snubbed before.
Yeah, I guess that's quite a hint.
Well, I admit it annoyed me. The next day, I announced to Celia that I was going over to the village. Well, she made no objection, but she followed me in the distance, probably to make sure I didn't drown on the way. It's wet going around here. At last I came over a rise and found myself 100 yards from the village on the land side, and then I realized they'd left it. I walked around it a while and found cooking fires still glowing, but nobody had waited to receive me. So I went home insulted and very sulky. I wouldn't even talk to Celia until the next morning.
Well, did you see anybody there?
Nobody. Well, I settled down and built a house for the two of us, and that took up all my time for several months. I couldn't ignore them. There was something so curiously happy and peaceful about them, even though they gave me the cold shoulder. From the one look I had of them, it showed me that they were the most beautiful people I'd ever seen. Well, you've seen the picture. It doesn't do her justice.
Boy, she must be something.
One day, when Celia was gone, I made another trip to the village, and the same thing happened.
Well, did you make any attempt to explore further?
Oh, yes. I got the little lifeboat flyer repaired enough to get it off the ground and set it down again. I had enough fuel for one 24-hour trip. I flew down the valley for almost 50 miles before I came across the first colony of the other ones, the Zares.
Is that what the people here call them?
No, Zare, that's the word for snake. I named them that.
Did they live in caves?
No, that's what fooled me. It was a village of houses just like the one here. I sat down on the lake and I saw them. They just stood there, very quietly watching me through the doors and windows. What made it worse somehow was that they wore clothes, but the clothes didn't cover enough. Those weaving, soft, blue, slimy bodies and those staring eyes. I backed down the ladder with my gun ready in case they rushed me, but they never moved.
Did you find any more of them?
There were about 8 more colonies of Zares further down the valley, but there was no trace of another tribe of humans. At the time, I didn't know just what to make of it. There was a possibility that my village represented an advanced troop of human beings into the land of snakes. But it turned out to be the other way around. It seemed to be the snakes that were pushing out the humans. So I swore to myself that as long as I lived, at least, human beings were going to hold this section of the valley undisturbed in its safety. When I came back, I said to Celia, I must speak to your people. Go tell them I'll come again tomorrow, and they mustn't run away. Well, she looked at me, and then she went in the direction of the village.
Did they wait for you?
Well, she came back late at night, crept into my arms, and told me they promised to wait for me. Oh, I set out the next morning full of great plans. After all, the Zare snakes lived in widely scattered settlements. The villagers and I could wipe out those settlements one by one until we'd cleared the land. But then I didn't realize how different Celia's people were from us.
How? What happened?
Well, I came over that rise, and there the village was. This time I knew they'd stayed home. And then, not 20 feet off my path, I saw 2 of the Zares standing in the bushes, one watching me and the other looking at the village. They were the first ones I'd seen that close, and they were horrible. They had a rapacious, greedy look. They seemed oily and unclean. Each had a kind of tricky crossbow over his shoulder, and they couldn't be seen from the village. Would you like something to drink? There's some kind of fermented homebrew I made.
No. What happened?
Well, I shot them both down before they got over the surprise. It was a natural thing to do, wasn't it?
Sure, I guess so.
But apparently, from the point of view of the villagers, it wasn't. The village was empty again. When I got back home, I was actually sick with disappointment. And then I discovered Celia was gone. She stayed away 3 days. And when she came back, I never went back to the village.
But I don't see what...
Neither did I until it was too late. They won't kill their enemies. They're too polite for that. So their enemies are gradually squeezing them out of existence.
Captain, what do you expect us to do in this situation?
Kill the Zares, as many as we can find. If the human beings of this world won't defend themselves, we'll have to defend them. I can't be on guard here forever. It's up to you and the other men on the ship to do the job right. You will, won't you? You'll make a report to Commander Lowndes?
We'll make our report.
Oh, that's fine. Well, gentlemen, I suppose it's late now. I suppose you'll want to turn in.
When will your wife get back?
Well, she'll be back later. Don't worry about her.
Marta. Marta, are you awake?
Why, what do you want?
Listen.
Why?
Somebody moving in the house. Listen.
Holman?
No. Listen to those steps. Now, hear him? That's no man. Slow, dragging.
Yeah, come on.
Wait a minute. Sidearms. Right there, come on.
Quiet, it's coming from downstairs. Stop. Listen.
Wait till I get the safety catch on.
Look. No firing unless I tell you.
Look, Marta, I'll take care of myself. Maybe it's one of those airs. I'd like to get a shot at them. Come on.
Downstairs, all right.
There's light. What's that?
A missile gun. Holman had a number of obsolete weapons down there. Hurry up.
Look out, there goes the light.
I've got my torch. It came from the well room.
Oh, it's the door. Stand back. Turn your light in there. It's Holman. They've got Holman. There it goes. Stand clear. I'll blast it.
Wait a minute.
Get out of the way. It's one of those airs. Give me a clear shot.
Hold it. Can't get out of here while we've got the well covered. Now keep your blaster ready while I look at Holman.
I hear it moving back there in the shadows.
He's dead.
Come on, make a break for it, you rotten, slimy snake. Come on.
Shot through the head with his own gun.
Who's that there, that snake?
You got a good look at it?
No, it jumped for the shadows. There it is. Marta, swing your torch around. I'll roast it with one blast.
Listen.
Who's that?
You who are his friends, will you listen to me?
Who are you?
He called me his wife.
What? How'd she get in here? If that Zare gets a hold of her...
Quiet. Don't move.
I won't.
Why did you kill him?
But I thought you understood.
You mean she killed him? It was that Zare, the snake.
There are medical men who'd say he'd been insane for 20 years as he counted time. They would have forced him back into sanity. I could not bear the thought he should suffer that.
Suffer what?
Are you all fools? He was a fool, though I loved him. He could not see beyond the shape of things. So here among us, he saw shapes he could bear to see. And those moments when sanity came to him and he saw what was really there, then he killed. Are you all like that?
What's she talking about? Is the snake there with her?
Go upstairs, boys. Wait for me outside.
You're going to kill that snake?
Yes, I'll kill the snake.
All right, take my blast now. Be careful. Get between the eyes, Marta. Roast that Zare to a crisp.
Go on outside. Are you still there?
Yes.
Is there any way you can get out?
I can leave by the river that flows under the well if you do not shoot at me.
I won't shoot at you.
May I take his body?
Yes.
And you will all leave with your ship? I loved him, although my people thought it strange, almost beyond their tolerance. They are foolish, too, yet not as foolish as you are. They saw what was in his mind, and not beyond that. And so they were afraid of him. But he is dead now. And there is nothing that your people and mine could share. We are too different. Will you leave?
We'll leave. What did you see that was beyond his mind?
A brave spirit, though very frightened. He ventured far, far, far into the dark, of which he was afraid. I loved him for that. I am coming now. I think you had better look away.
Marta.
Yes, sir.
I've just been down to sick bay. Boyce is all right. He's in shock.
Well, I gave him a shot of sedative on my way up here.
Oh, the medics say he'll be all right. They're giving him a reconstructive psychotherapy fix. He won't remember much of it. If you had looked squarely at that thing, we might have had to give you the same treatment. Our pickled specimens of the Zare are pretty hideous.
I suppose it's all the way you look at it.
Yes, I suppose so. Holman had his own way of looking at it. Selective hysterical blindness maintained for 22 years, with his own type of artistic hallucinations thrown in. I can't help wishing it hadn't happened to Holman.
He didn't maintain it throughout. When he was hallucinating, he saw them as beautiful. He saw her as beautiful. But when he saw them clearly, the way they really were, He killed them.
Who wouldn't? I almost feel like getting out of space and staying out for good. Well, it's time to file a report and wrap up.
What are you reporting?
That Holman died here quite peacefully about a year before we found him, leaving a diary of inspiring courage and devotion to space exploration behind him. We'll have time enough to work up the diary. That should keep everybody happy.
All secure, sir. Shall I close down the ports?
Just a minute. Marta, look down there. The whole galaxy. Do you think there actually are people out there somewhere?
I hope so.
Do you think we'll ever find them?
I don't know. They've never found us.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features Survival Type by J.F. Bone. Score 1 or 1 million was not enough for the human race. It had to be all or nothing, with one man doing all the scoring. Galaxy Magazine, on your newsstand today. Tonight, X-1 has brought you Caretaker, a story from the pages of Galaxy written by James A. Schmitz and adapted for radio by Ernest Kenoy. Featured in the cast were Ted Osborne, Bill Lipton, Mason Adams, Raymond Edward Johnson, and Betty Kane. This is Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production.
Polio is not over yet. A total of $46,900,000 is needed to continue the fight against this crippling disease. Thousands of polio victims are depending on you. Help finish the polio fight. Join the 1957 March of Dimes. The World on a New Hotline. Listen for news on the hour and the exciting hotline service all day, every day on most of these stations.
For the first time since Jerry Hall, Mrs. Gregory, and Tex Bradford have been prisoners on their captive yacht at the magic island of Euclidia, they have a chance to escape. G-47, their mad scientific captor, has allowed them to remain aboard their yacht. With the aid of the opaque cloth made on the island, our friends have insulated a cabin on the yacht and may talk in safety. Their radio is useless for transmission, but through code messages received from the operator on the other Gregory boat, help may soon be near. Captain Bradford is about to explain the plan to Jerry as Joan and her mother come into the cabin.
Now, hurry and get into this thing, Pat. You too, Joan. Well, Pat, thanks to you and your determination to take the bosun and bosun's mate with us on every cruise, we're about to get a message to Johnson.
How long will it take Johnson to get within range?
It all depends on what time he sails from San Pedro. We'll keep our receiver open, and he'll let us know when he's within striking distance.
And how much we'll all owe to the little bosun and his mate. I'm certainly glad now we've always carried them and trained them.
Hey, for the love of Pete, will you two quit talking and tell somebody else what it's all about?
Yes, Mother. You and the captain talk so fast. Jerry and I do not know what it is all about.
I'm sorry, Joan. I was just going to explain it to Jerry when you and your mother came back to the cabin.
You see, Joan, dear, we haven't had a chance to show you over the whole boat as yet, and we forgot you hadn't seen the pigeons.
Well, of all the nuts, I'm the worst. I watched those pigeons all the way down here from Los Angeles and never thought to ask a question about them.
But what can pigeons have to do with getting a message to your friend Johnson?
They're not just pigeons. They're homing pigeons. Gosh, and I never even thought of it.
Well, don't feel too badly, Jerry. You're quick enough to see the significance in most things.
Say, Joan.
Yes, Captain Bradford?
Didn't you ever hear them talk about homing pigeons here on Euclidia?
I have never heard a word about them. So it must be that the scientists do not talk much about them, for they are so sure no one can escape from the island that they discuss most things before all of us.
I hope you're right, and it seems possible that you are. This infernal Euclidia is so far ahead of the world in scientific development, they must have forgotten the old standbys, or scorn to use them.
G-47 always says that all things scientific are superior to the finest things in nature.
That belief is the first weakness in the reasoning of G-47 that I have found.
I guess he figures that homing pigeons are old-fashioned.
That may be, but they're the only possible method of getting a message through that magnetized fog and all the other electrochemical devices this island is protected with.
Do these pigeons really carry messages?
You bet they do. And they fly fast, too.
It is wonderful to learn that. We have pigeons on Euclidia also, but they are used only for pigeon pie. We have none that can talk. Only our parrots can talk, and they are not trained to carry messages.
Our pigeons can't talk either, my dear.
Then how do they carry messages?
Oh, John.
Now you are laughing at me.
Well, I'm sorry, honey. We shouldn't do that. You see, these pigeons can't talk. We write a message on a piece of thin, strong paper, then tie it to their leg with a fine wire band and turn them loose. They are taught to return to one place, or one kind of a place, and someone is waiting there to get the message.
Well, if we're going to do anything with them, we'd better get busy and send one off because if old G47 finds us looking too happy, he'll know we've got some plan, and then he'll make kindling wood out of this yacht to find out what it is.
Nevertheless, we'll have to be patient for several hours, maybe a day or two.
Why can't we let the pigeon go now, right away?
We've got to wait till Johnson gets the other boat within the range these birds can cover. We're about 4,000 miles from Los Angeles, on this island, and the longest recorded flight over water was only a little over 1,000. And that's about the limit so far as I know.
Well, if Johnson started from here the same time he got my first message that we were in danger, before old G47 got me with that ray gun and made me change the message, Johnson's boat ought to be 1,000 miles out of San Pedro by now.
How fast does this ship, the ship that Mr. Johnson is in, how fast will it travel?
Well, he'll be using our diesel-motored cruiser, and although it's nearly a 100-foot boat, it's built on hydroplane specifications, and Johnson runs as if it had wings. So he ought to average from 50 to 55 knots for the run.
Golly whiskers. Who ever heard of a big boat going 55 knots an hour for 4,000 miles?
We have a number of things that the world in general never heard of, son. That boat will do all of that. But the worry is that heavily loaded with all my scientific equipment on board, it will burn a lot of fuel.
And how will the fuel be replenished, Captain?
From various ships Johnson will contact along the run. Ships flying Mrs. Gregory's merchant pennant, which will then put out from several ports to meet him.
Boy, you're sure some mysterious people, all right. But just so as it comes out okay, I guess I can wait for the answers till you get ready to give them to me.
You are an intelligent boy, Jerry.
I know it.
Now, you two keep still. We've got to figure just when to get that pigeon off to Johnson. There are many things to be planned and done before this flight can start. One thing, Tex, we must remember that magnetic fog and use string rather than wire on the leg band.
Tex, I know what to do. A thread from this cloth of theirs.
You do not have to worry about that all the time. And sometimes the fog is not magnetized.
Are you sure about that, Joan?
That would make it easier, wouldn't it, Tex?
That would make it almost simple.
But how can you tell that the fog is not magnetized all the time?
I have heard the scientists talking about it. They magnetize the fog only when danger is near, and they have instruments which warn them of a boat or airplane 100 miles away. G47 says the constant utilization of current in the magnetism of the fog ring is too heavy a drain on the electric supply, which is difficult to replenish quickly.
Well, that sounds reasonable. With all the machines they have running, all electrically driven, I imagine, they should conserve their power as much as possible. But how can you tell when the fog is magnetized and when it is not?
It is magnetized only when the danger signal shows.
Where is this danger signal, Gag?
There is a red light in the center of the island by night and a red signal by day.
Then if we make sure the red light is not displayed, we may safely send the pigeon.
I think it will be quite safe, Mother.
It looks as if we're getting somewhere at last.
But suppose G47 discovers these pigeons before we can use them.
I got it. It's dark now. I'll go out and get the pigeons and bring them in here. Then he can't see them through this cloth.
I will go with you, Jerry.
Now, hold it, you kids. We'd better not go near the pigeons till we want them.
But, Tex, what if someone on the island notices them before we want them?
Did you see the pigeons when you looked in that machine in their headquarters, Jerry?
Sure. I saw everything on the yacht. The pigeons were playing.
Yeah, I thought so. And we don't dare to move them. Chances are they haven't attracted any attention. And maybe they won't. But you can bet someone is watching this boat every minute. And if anything was moved and brought in here where they couldn't see it, they'd be down for a look-see in a second.
If G47 knows all about the things these pigeons can do, and he must know it, I cannot understand how he let you keep them at all. He would know they could fly out with messages.
That worries me, too. Do you suppose they're just waiting to trap us when we use the pigeons?
They're smart enough to be at that. G47 might figure I'd try to send a pigeon out with a formula.
Joan knows all these guys and how crazy they are. What do you think about it?
It is obvious that G47 knows about the pigeons, and he would know that they were, what you called them?
Homing pigeons.
Yes, homing pigeons. But he is so scornful of nature and so secure in his own inventions that he might be careless about it.
That's possible, of course. Every man will make a mistake sometime, and this may be the one G47 will make.
Tex, how close has Johnson got to be to us before there's a good chance of these birds getting to his boat?
We'll let him get as close as possible, though these are well-trained birds, well cared for, and in the best of condition. They should make 500 miles straight as an arrow and right on schedule, providing weather conditions and other influences were favorable, of course.
How far away will these automatic alarms on the island detect a foreign object?
A large boat with motors can be located 200 miles away, an airplane 10,000 feet in the air, and even a rowboat or a swimmer 20 to 25 miles.
And these alarms are strictly automatic, operating and registering disturbances all the time?
At all times. And everything which comes within range of the alarms leaves a record on a recording device.
Gosh, this is sure a tough one.
If we get out of this one, we'll have something to tell the folks back home. And I think we'll get out sometime.
Well, how will we know when Johnson is near enough to turn loose one of the birds?
He'll keep on our radio beam, and we have a code that is simple but effective. So we'll be advised of his position at all times.
I hope these men don't get wise to the fact that receiving Johnson's apparently hopeless message is of value to us. It would be easy enough for them to block Johnson's carrier wave.
Captain Bradford, do not think me impertinent. You are a wise man, and I am only a young girl. But I would like to offer a little advice.
Your offer is gladly accepted. Advice is what we need most of.
I should figure, in your place, that G47 knows what every message you receive means to you. And the only reason he is letting you receive them is that he believes he can trap you into something which may give him access to your formula.
Oh, gee whiz, Joan. You're too scared of that old guy.
Joan has lived here all her life, Jerry. 14 of her 15 years. And she's seen many things done on this island that we couldn't even imagine.
Well, just the same, everybody's got to make a mistake. And it's old G47's turn now.
I think you may be right, Jerry, but we should be very careful.
Now, here's another place where you can be a lot of help to us, Joan. Suppose we do get a pigeon free, get one outside the fog wall, and start it north for Johnson's boat. What if they to run it down with or catch it?
The large ray guns would do it, but they are not too accurate at any great distance.
How much is a great distance to these guys?
Something less than 50 miles, I think.
That seems a long way to us, my dear.
Too far. But suppose the pigeon got away for, say, an hour and a half to 2 hours before they discovered it. Then what? These birds do 40 miles an hour.
The floor of the island would open up, and a fleet of tiny airplanes shoot out. They will fly over 500 miles an hour and stay in the air for 18 hours.
And they'd soon fly the birds down.
Our only hope is to get a pigeon out soon after dark and hope they don't discover it till daylight.
Are you sure the pigeon can find the other boat?
Yeah. Suppose he sees something else to land on. What then?
Those pigeons have been trained between these two boats and never failed. They've covered distances up to 500 miles, and I think they could do 1,000 if they had to.
And Johnson has a pair on his boat, which are trained to come to this boat. And only exhaustion would make them land on anything else.
That's right, and that's something else to worry about.
How come?
Well, if Johnson should send a pigeon before we do, the pigeon thing is exposed.
Yes, but
quiet, here's Johnson.
J24Y. J12 calling Bradford on J24Y. Can you hear me, J24Y? No signal from you. Your beam may be broken by a storm. I am using land relay. Storm directly on Los Angeles beam to last position you gave me. Stand by for location of storm center. Try to reach me through land relay.
Quiet now. When he gives us a location of the storm center, that will be his own position. He's telling us in code how near his boat is to us.
Advise you try directional beam to coast of Chile. Ask them relay to me. Storm center. Can you hear me? Storm center is...
48 hours on the Magic Island. 48 hours in this strange scientific colony called Euclidia. The cabins of the Gregory yacht are now completely lined with the sound and light-proof cloth of the island. The Gregory party can talk in privacy, as the delicate recording instruments of the scientists cannot penetrate the opaque cloth of their own manufacture. G47, mad genius of the island, has allowed Mrs. Gregory, her daughter, and friends to remain aboard their yacht, tied to the island. Captain Bradford, Mrs. Gregory, Joan, and Jerry are grouped in the radio cabin of the yacht. It is midnight, their third midnight at the island.
Well, what do you think of your new suit, Jerry?
Oh, it's all right, I guess, but Mrs. Gregory isn't so hot as a tailor.
I'm sorry, Jerry, but it will do for our purpose.
You look quite nice in a suit of Euclidean kelp cloth, I think, Jerry.
There you are, Jerry. Joan likes it, so you're all right.
Oh, I don't care much how it looks, just so as it does the trick.
There isn't any other way to get the pigeon into the cabin here without someone on Euclidia noticing it.
Are you so sure, Captain Bradford, that this pigeon will fly to the other boat and find it?
I never knew one of these birds to fail yet.
I wish we'd hear from Johnson again. How close do you figure him to be now, Tex?
He's not more than 700 or 800 miles, and likely making about 40 knots now. He'll be slowing up as he gets nearer to try and discover what's wrong with us before he runs into needless danger himself.
He'd never dreamed the sort of place we're prisoners on. And with G47 blocking our radio beam, we haven't a thing but the homing pigeons to warn him with.
What message will you send with the pigeon, Captain?
I'll have to send instructions about my formula. It is the only thing to attack the island with.
But suppose the pigeon goes to the wrong boat or makes to land someplace. Then your formula will be in someone else's hands.
No matter who gets what I send, any country in the world would come to our aid here. Remember that our escape will probably mean the only chance there is of saving the entire world from scientific conquest by these madmen.
Joan, dear, what do you think their attitude would be if they should take over the world? Are they criminals or merely power mad?
I think they are mad for power. Selfish ambition to rule over and terrorize people. They speak of people in your world as dumb animals, only fit to do the bidding of the Euclideans.
Then I'm afraid the world would be just a gigantic laboratory for them to experiment with.
I think that, Mother. And I know they plan to put machines at work in place of human brains, to experiment on people as they do now on animals, and rule the world by science.
Nice people to meet on a dark night. Golly, but we've got a job ahead of us. If we can only get off this crazy island and destroy it, we can really save the world.
This is war, Jerry, and a war that means freedom for the civilized people of the world. We've got to win. Our lives mean very little at a time like this.
Our lives will mean plenty to the rest of the world if we can just keep alive long enough to get this message through to Johnson.
Ready for me to bring the pigeon in now?
Might as well, Jerry. Now look, try to act natural standing in front of the coat, and look all around carefully. When you are sure no one is looking, slip the pigeon inside your suit and come back in here.
Wait, Jerry. Be sure the warning light in the center of the island is not burning. That will mean the electrical eyes on the island are not working. The fog will not be magnetized, and only the long beam signals will be sweeping the ocean outside the fog ring.
You're a great help, my dear. You remember everything.
We on Euclidia are well trained in observation.
Okay, Jerry, go to it. Watch your step and go slowly and naturally, both going and coming back.
Right. I'll take my time.
Now, Joan, you know more about this island than we do. What do you think Jerry's chances are to get that pigeon and return here without being seen?
He will undoubtedly be seen, but there is a possibility that no one will notice him taking the pigeon from its usual place and slipping it under his coat.
And you are sure this cloth will keep the islanders from seeing he's carrying anything unusual under his coat?
If he is not stopped and searched because he's wearing the special cloth suit, no one will see through it.
Oh, Tex, we should have thought of that. Of course there'll be a guard on the yacht, and he'll stop Jerry and question him about that suit.
Got to chance it.
But G47 promised to outfit us completely in the cloth tomorrow. Then we could have done this without arousing any suspicion.
You are right, Mother. It would have been much wiser to wait until tomorrow night to try and get the pigeon from the stern of the yacht.
I know it would from a detection angle, but we can't afford waiting till tomorrow night.
Why not, Tex? Johnson will have the other boat much nearer then, and the pigeons would reach it easily and quickly.
Exactly, and Johnson would also be reached easily and quickly by the devices they have here on this mad island.
That is also true, Captain. Your other boat will be in danger of being reported on these delicate instruments of G47s when it is within 200 miles.
That was stupid of me, wasn't it, Tex?
No, this is enough to mix anyone up. We'll all think together.
Naturally, we must get word to Johnson while he's still out of range of their detectives. But, Joan, you said the Euclideans watched our yacht all the way from the coast of California to this island, 4,000 miles. How then is Johnson safe to within 200 miles?
They were watching for you to sail. When they use the universal prism reflectors with full power on a narrow focus, they have a range of 8,000 miles. But the object must be in daylight, and the apparatus is strictly directional.
Good. Then at night, And Johnson will be running down the same time zone we lie in. At night, all they use is a general wide-range detector. And this is no good beyond 200 miles?
That is right, Captain. Then the quicker we get the pigeon off to Johnson, the better. As our plans might go for nothing, even if the bird made the boat, but Johnson was caught.
Yes, Mother. G-47 would send out a submarine or stratoplane and destroy him before daylight.
Have you the message all written out, Tex?
This tiny roll of paper contains all the information Johnson needs. That is, all he will need for the present. If this gets through, it's a matter of routine to finish the job.
This pigeon must get through, Tex. I feel that we'd never be given a second chance. It's now or never.
I got him all right, and not a soul was anywhere near the yacht.
But that yellow haze, how could you see through it?
They are not using the sub-ultraviolet fog tonight. It is too difficult to generate and uses up too much of the supply of gas. They only use it in time of danger.
Or when they want to impress someone with their tricks, as they did when we landed. All right, we'd better lose no time now. Handle the pigeon carefully, kid.
Right.
They're mighty sensitive about how they're handled.
Oh, what a nice little bird. It doesn't seem possible that it could fly as fast and as far as you say.
Homing pigeons are very wonderful, my dear, and they seldom fail.
Now hold him gently but firmly, Jerry, while I tie this roll of paper on his leg. I'm using Euclidean cloth thread, so there's no danger of any magnetic force holding this little fellow back.
How do I let him go?
Better just walk around the deck again. Take a turn all the way around. Then when you stroll slowly up near the stern on the starboard side, just open your coat and let it out. Then keep on walking. Take another turn of the boat if it seems natural, and don't hurry back in here.
Will that message not blow off in the wind?
Not the way Tex is tying it on. He's tied too many of them.
No, sir. This note will stay with the pigeon till Johnson takes it off.
Are you sure the pigeon can find the other boat in the dark?
They've been trained as much in night flying as in day.
They'll do it easily enough, but this one won't have to. It ought to be daylight when he reaches the boat.
But how will Mr. Johnson catch it without hurting it?
There's a coat on Johnson's boat to which this bird has been trained to fly. The door will be open, and the bird goes in. That's all there is to it.
I wish we knew exactly where Johnson was. It would be a shame to start the poor little cruiser off with its goal out of reach.
No danger of that if Johnson's last position was correct, and he keeps coming at 40 knots or better.
There he is, Jerry. Handle him gently. Do just as I told you. And if you should meet anyone, you're just going for a walk. Someone is likely patrolling the pier along the yacht rail.
Be careful, Jerry.
I will. Don't worry so much.
Better button up your coat. It's loose enough so it won't crush the bird. And let your arms swing naturally as you walk around the deck. Good luck, kid.
Well, here I go again. Now, don't worry about anything.
Oh, Tex.
Don't be nervous, Pat. It's out of our hands now.
Jerry will do it right, Mother. He's a very clever boy.
I know that, dear, but it's such a strain. We've been tied up to this ghastly island just over 48 hours now. And it seems like a lifetime.
No good to worry about it, Pat. You and Joan better go to your own cabin and get some rest as soon as Jerry gets the pigeon started.
How long will it be before we get an answer?
Well, that all depends on...
J24Y. J12C calling J24Y.
Hold it. There's Johnson now. At least they haven't stopped the incoming beams.
J12 to J24Y. Hello, J24. J12C reporting. No signal from you. Land stations report they cannot raise you. Taking chance this getting through to you. Storm warning. Storm center near your last reported position. May be reason you cannot get signal to me. Serious storm is reported moving directly north of you. Storm moving south at terrific speed. Present storm center 17 degrees south. If you are getting my signal, advise you run out of storm course. Land stations report all radio channels near you blocked by some terrific electrical disturbance. If you can hear me, run for it. Storm center, 17 degrees south. Confirm if you can hear me. That is all. Johnson on J12C.
Oh, Tex, he's coming fast, isn't he?
I'll say he is. 17 degrees south, eh? And we're only 29.
Then he's just 12 degrees north of us.
I'm so excited I can't figure it out in my head. You got a pencil, Tex?
Yeah, and I'm using it for that same little thing.
I've got it figured, Mother.
You have?
You mentally converted degrees into miles that fast?
Of course. That is simple. Oh, I did not use the fractions. But there are approximately 69 statute or land miles to a degree at this latitude.
Joan, you know the conversion tables by memory?
You certainly got an education on this island. There isn't one person in 100 who could figure that in their head, even if they knew the conversion tables.
12 degrees at 69 miles to a degree is 828 miles.
Then if Johnson is making 40 knots an hour or more...
He's making plenty more. He said storm traveling south at terrific speed. And terrific speed with Johnson means all the boat will do. And the Pigeon will make 40 going to meet him if the wind is favorable.
Then they should meet in less than 5 hours.
Right you are. Johnson will have that message at daylight.
But suppose G47 has figured out Johnson's code. What if he knows that every time Johnson reported the storm center, he was giving his own position?
He's sure to know it. For one thing, his own radio beam will tell him there is no storm. He knows Johnson's coming, and he wants him to keep on coming, so he can capture that boat also. As he probably knows, most of our equipment is on it.
But if Johnson is captured, we can do nothing.
Don't worry, dear. That Pigeon will get to Johnson's boat 300 or 400 miles from here. And Johnson will turn and run out of the danger the minute he reads the message.
Oh, boy. Everything's swell. Not a soul was on our side of the island, and the Pigeon took off into the north side of the fog like a bullet after he'd fluttered around a minute and got his bearings.
Oh, Mother, the Pigeon really got away.
I'll say he got away.
And it won't be long till we all get away.
Adventures of the Mind, the editor of Astounding Science Fiction magazine, John Campbell, Jr.
In the biblical story of the handwriting on the wall, everybody could see that handwriting. The king, Belshazzar, could see it clearly enough. Trouble was he couldn't tell what it meant. If you recall, he had to call in an interpreter. A lot of people can see handwriting on the wall. The argument is, what does it mean? The thing that makes reading that handwriting on the wall so difficult many times is that the message is one we don't want. We don't want to be able to read. Many times when a man's faced with a problem that he can't solve, he doesn't want to admit that it's an absolute limitation that cannot be broken. Then the grand old art of buck passing comes in. That's when you start saying, well, it isn't my fault. He won't let me. Let's consider a situation of that type.
My name is Lester McClellan, Secretary General of the United Nations. It was a busy day in the year 2180. The ambassador from a now independent colony on Venus was due to see me that morning. And there was a note on my desk requesting me to call Dr. Kingston, head of the UN Research Bureau, as soon as I had a chance. Kingston was working on a project vital to the future of mankind. I decided to call him. Bernie, I got your message. What goes?
Good news about the space drive project. There's been a substantial breakthrough. We've made a qualitative advance.
And what does that mean in plain English?
That we'll be finished with the groundwork in less than a year. Maybe even next month.
Have you prepared a news release on this thing?
Not yet, Lester. We're waiting for official approval first. Look, can you come down to the lab sometime today? I can give you a briefing on the new material. Study in.
I'll try, but I'm not promising. The ambassador from Venus is due any minute, and you know what a tough job I'm going to have with him.
Yeah, I understand. Well, Lester, if you're free at all...
I'll call you back if I am.
Right. Good luck with the ambassador.
Thanks. Oh, he's coming now. I can't talk anymore.
Try to see me later, will you?
Bye, Bernie.
Secretary General McClellan? I'm David Rockwood, Art Secretary of Venus Central Council. How do you do?
Won't you be seated, Mr. Rockwood?
Thank you.
I'm happy to welcome you back to the planet of your ancestors. Is it your first visit to Earth?
It is.
I wish I could hope that you'll enjoy your stay here, but I can't do that, can't I? Anyway, we're very happy that the Outworlds agreed to send an observer to the Earth. We have a major problem here, Mr. Rockwood. We think your worlds can help us. Of course, you're familiar with the text of the General Assembly resolution.
Of course. The three governments of the former Earth colonies of Mars, Venus, and Callisto have sent me as their representative.
The space travel is not cheap, you know. We saw no need of 3 observers. One would do.
Yes. Yes, I see. I've arranged for you to have a brief guided tour of parts of the Earth to illustrate our population problem.
Very well. We've agreed to reserve decision until we've seen Earth.
We can begin our tour now, if you like. And this is the Bureau of Population Statistics. Now, you see that screen over there, Mr. Rockwood, the one with the red numbers on it? It's the up-to-date record on Earth's population. Every birth and death is automatically fed into the main computer channel as soon as it's known, and within an hour it's registered up there.
13,762,312,000. The last column doesn't stay still long enough for me to read it.
No, it doesn't. We average 500,000 new Earthmen a day, and the computer has to move fast to keep up. It's an average gain of 3 or 4 million people a week, 150 million a year. And the figure keeps rising.
What you need is a really efficient play. Something to clear away 3 or 4 billions.
I don't find that very amusing, Mr. Rockwood. An interplanetary war would achieve the same thing. Shall we move on? Down there you see New York City. Population 15.5 million.
Incredible. One long stretch of buildings. Well, the largest city on Venus is only 200,000 people.
I can remember when we still had trees in New York. Not anymore. Wood is a luxury on Earth now.
And so is living space. Where do you expect to put the billions you're figuring on in coming years?
I wish I knew. We're converting Mars and Venus and Callisto into livable worlds, but the rest of the planets are impossible to convert. We need population relief in a hurry.
Meaning emigration to Venus, Mars, and Callisto?
Yes. If you will permit us to send more settlers to the planets we built and colonized.
Oh, come now. Do you really think we owe you the right to send the overflow to us?
Let's finish the tour. We can discuss possible arrangements later.
You know, the handwriting doesn't have to be on a wall. Sometimes it can be on the face of a computer, as it was this time. But the handwriting was there. But now, what is the meaning of this handwriting? Does it mean that the colonists should allow Earthmen to move out? Or does it maybe have some other meaning?
And this is Food Station 117, an artificial island in the Gulf of Mexico. Since we've hardly any open land on Earth for cultivation, we've turned to farming the sea. We've developed some new foods. These are plankton sticks, synthesized from small sea creatures, microscopic crustaceans. And this bread comes from plankton flora. Taste it.
Oh, dear. Not very tasty stuff, is it?
No, it isn't. But half of Earth's population knows no other food. It's nutritious, and the supply is practically limitless. And we can't spare land for grazing animals. The only ones left are in the zoo. Care for another slice of steak?
No, thanks. No, thanks. This one will do very well. May I have something to drink, please, to wash away that taste?
How did you enjoy the rush hour subway ride?
It was a nightmare.
I've given you as good a sample of Earth's life as is possible in a single day. You've seen much of North America, but it's worse elsewhere. Why, in Asia alone...
Please, Miss McLaren, no more statistics. You've made your point over and over again.
I'm sorry if I've tired you. But I wanted to show you the contrast between Earth and your own uncrowded planets. And now I appeal to you, Mr. Rockwood, in the name of the humanity that's common to all our worlds.
You want us to let you send overflow masses to us?
We built those colonies as a safety valve for overpopulation. But now that we need to use that valve, it's shut tight. Mr. Rockwood, I'm a reasonable man. I know we're asking something that amounts to an imposition, but I beg you.
I agree. Earth is terribly overcrowded. The population of Venus is about 700 million. Mars has about 1 billion. Callisto, 300 million. Now, these figures are close to the peak of optimum population. And since our death rates are low, thanks to medical advances, we have to keep a careful watch over birth rates to maintain normal population distribution. I ask you to hear me out, please. We're deeply moved and sympathetic to your plight. We wish we could help you. We feel pity, the pity we would have for an idiot who, given a loaded gun, proceeds to blow his brains out. What did you say? I knew how overcrowded Earth was before I took your little tour. But we haven't grown overcrowded and won't. Why? Because we have small worlds, smaller than Earth. We can't allow ourselves to breed at Earth's rate. We see the inescapable need for certain self-restrictions.
You don't see the moral obligation to accept some of our excess people?
We see a moral obligation to refuse. To force you to see your real problem and its solution.
I am empowered by the General Assembly, Mr. Lockwood, to exert any means within my power to make you change your mind. And Earth, I'm afraid, has more armed vessels than your 3 worlds combined.
So you're threatening war?
Not war. Survival. You have country estates, rolling green fields, and we don't have an inch of free space.
So you'll fight to make us let you in? You're bigger fools than I thought. 14 billion of you crammed onto one world, and a mere 2 billion of us scattered over 3. Why, a war would ruin you. We'd bomb you in a shotgun spray and knock off 100,000 no matter where we struck. While you'd have to pry us out of nooks and crannies. We'd lose perhaps 100 million people, but you'd lose billions. I think we could risk it.
So you won't yield. You'd risk war even. You won't take colonists. When we colonize the stars, we shall do it differently.
The stars? Yes, you're counting on them as your last hope. But do you seriously think colonizing the stars can help your population problem? Oh, look, Mr. McClellan, even if you invented a workable star drive tomorrow, it would take 5 years before the first ships got off the ground. You're adding 500,000 a day. Now, how many people would these ships hold? 1,000 each? With 500,000 new births a day, you wouldn't be able to ship people to the stars fast enough to keep up. The math's against you, sir. You'd have to run as fast as you could just to stay where you are.
I suppose there's no further negotiation we can do, Mr. Rockwood. I'll arrange for your immediate return to your home planet.
Now, will you think about what I've said?
I'll think about it, yes. But we have 14 billion people on Earth.
Mr. McClellan, we're not anxious for war. But your threat doesn't scare us either. We'll fight to defend our way of life. And we'll win, sir. Good day, Mr. McClellan.
Human enough to want to pass his troubles along to another person. In this case, he wanted to make it that his troubles were because the colonists wouldn't let people emigrate. That wasn't the trouble. The trouble was emigration had become impossible. And that was the thing that he had to accept. And like the king in the biblical story, he didn't want that interpretation of the handwriting on the computer.
Sit down, Bernie. Tell me how this star drive of yours is coming.
I think we've got it licked, Lester.
But you tell me, are the colonies going to open up? No.
No. But they can't do that. They just can't clam up and refuse to take in Earthmen. Well, Lester, we built those colonies. They don't have the right... I want to talk about the star drive, Bernie. How close to finished is it? Well, we haven't fully worked out the field equations yet, but with some fast computer work... I'm not interested in equations. How long do you think it'll be before Earth has spaceships that can travel faster than the speed of light, fast enough to reach the star? I told you before, Lester, maybe a month, maybe 2 months. Till the pilot model is finished, that is. No more than a year, certainly. Now, you had some very interesting figures thrown at me today. Have you ever realized how many ships we'd need to send out before we can even make a dent in our population? Hundreds a day. Well, even so, it would help some to get... No, it wouldn't. Bernie, I want you to do me a favor. When you perfected your new star drive, hide it. Don't destroy it, because we'll need it someday, but sit on it. Put the schematics away until I give the word, and don't publish your findings. Have you gone crazy, Lester? No, I've suddenly gone stark, raving sane. Look, the new star drive is a dodge, a subterfuge. It's a substitute for the real answer to our problem, Bernie. Venus is not overcrowded. They're controlling population increase there. What does all this have to do with my star drive? Why should I stop work on it? Because it will cloud the issue. The people won't believe the figures. As long as there's what seems to be a way out, they'll cling to it. If you suppress the star drive, there'll be no way out at all. And Earth either cracks wide open or it grows up. There's no middle course. And you're suggesting that I deliberately destroy my life's work? Just for a while. Sure, it's a great thing to explore the stars, but first we need to control ourselves. If the world learns that there's a star drive, they'll think it's a way out. It isn't, but we'll never convince them of it. First, we set up our population control programs, make them see the need for them, get them into operation, and then reveal the existence of the drive. We may have to wait a generation. No, I absolutely refuse. You can't meddle with science this way, Lester. Research must continue. If you interfere with me this way, well, I'll have no choice but to resign. Your resignation is accepted, Bernie. Effective immediately. What? But I only meant... I'm sorry, Bernie. So you're actually fine, if you want to call it that. You don't want to understand how disastrous it would be to continue work on the star drive, okay. Your successor will be a man who will understand such things. Maybe he won't be as gifted as you are, Bernie, but that's all right. The stars can wait. Lester, you can't fire me like this. So cold-bloodedly, so ruthlessly. We've been friends for years. You think I don't know that? But all along, I've been soft-hearted, been making concessions, taking the easy way out. We farmed the seas. We colonized 3 worlds. We cleared away half the Antarctic ice pack to make new land. All big, important things, but all dodging the real issue. Now I'm back against the wall. The whole world is. I can't be soft-hearted anymore. Lester, this doesn't sound like you. I know. You think I like the spot I'm in now? But a new order has to come about. An order which demands strength, tough-mindedness, courage. It's either that or a situation I don't want to think about. I can't let anything stand in the way now. Do I have time to clear out my office? You can have until tomorrow. And remember that you're still bound by security regulations in case you plan to scream to the news sheet. I'll remember it. So long, Lester. Good luck. Thanks. I'm probably going to need it. Limitations even to what science can accomplish, the highest technology. The fundamental physical limitation of the amount of matter there is in the universe. Old Malthus was right. With a higher technology, you can push the limit out a little further, but not beyond the limits of the universe. They're fundamental. It comes necessary, sooner or later,
to go in for quality instead of quantity. Not for numbers, but for fineness. Not for bigger, but for better. That's the direction we've got to go.
Presenting the transcription feature, Superman. Guys, look, it's a plane! It's a plane! It's Superman! And now, Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with physical powers far beyond those of mortal men, and who fights a never-ending battle against crime and injustice, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper. Superman, in the guise of Clark Kent, has become involved in a thrilling and baffling mystery which threatens to put even his courage and intelligence to their greatest test. A cargo of $5 million in gold was being brought to the Metropolis National Bank in a specially armored freight car. The gold car itself was one of a line of about 100 other freight cars. When the train arrived in the Metropolis Railroad Terminal, the car carrying the gold had completely vanished, yet the train had made no stops anywhere along the line. Clark Kent and Lois Lane, working on the mystery for their newspaper, the Daily Planet, decided that a certain Mr. Fortune, secretary to the president of the Metropolis National Bank, was the real culprit. When we last saw them, Kent and Lois had gone to see Mr. Van Doren, president of the bank, and told him their suspicions. The president stepped into Mr. Fortune's office to talk to him, and a strange thing happened.
We'll have Fortune in here and talk to him. If he knows anything about how that freight car vanished and where the $5 million in gold went to, we'll soon know about it. Mr. Fortune, can you come here, please? Fortune?
Anything wrong, Mr. Van Doren?
Oh, simply couldn't happen.
What couldn't happen, Mr. Van Doren?
Mr. Fortune's not here, Miss Lane. He's not in his office.
Oh, maybe he stepped out for a minute.
He couldn't have done that without my seeing him.
I can't follow you, Mr. Van Doren.
Well, there's only one way to get into or get out of Mr. Fortune's office, and that's through my own office. Here, have a look for yourself.
Seems to be about right. Fortune's office has no window, no other door. To come in or go out, he would have to come through your office here.
Mr. Kent, he's not here, and I saw him come in 10 minutes ago.
You actually saw Fortune come through your office and go into his own 10 minutes ago?
That's right. He said good morning to me as he went in.
And you're sure you didn't see him come out?
Positive, Miss Lane. I haven't left my own office in the past half hour. Fortune could not have gotten out of this office without my seeing him.
Well, if he couldn't get out, he must still be here. Let's have a look in that closet. I'm trying to think that's where we'll find him.
Well, Mr. Kent, what on earth could he be doing in that closet?
Well, I can't answer that, but he must be in that closet. There's no other place he could hide.
You must be right, of course. Stand back. I'll open the door.
I don't think I want to look.
Well, we'll soon know. Now, here, there's nothing inside this closet.
This whole thing is getting beyond me. First, the freight car carrying $5 million in gold disappears as completely as if Superman himself had reached down and picked it up. Now your secretary, Mr. Fortune, vanishes just as completely.
Oh, I refuse to believe it. It simply couldn't happen.
There's certainly no explanation for it. Clark, why are you rapping on those balls?
I just had a feeling that maybe there might be a secret panel somewhere, but there isn't. These walls are solid. It's beyond me.
Oh, Miss Bailey, what is it you... Miss Bailey, what happened? What's wrong?
Quick, someone catch her. She's going to faint.
I got her. Like a light. Well, things certainly are beginning to happen around here. What in the world?
Mr. Van Doren, would you bring that water jug on your desk, please?
Oh, yes.
Something must have upset her pretty badly. Who is she, Mr. Van Doren?
She's the receptionist in the outer office. Here's the water.
I'll take it. Now, if I can just get her to drink a little of it. There we are.
I'll rub her wrist.
Oh, Mr. Fortune. Mr. Fortune.
Easy does it now, easy. You're all right now, Miss Bailey.
Who are you? What's happening?
Well, you came into the office here, Miss Bailey. You looked at us all very clearly, and then you just fainted dead away.
Now I remember. Oh, Mr. Van Doren, he's out there.
Who's out there?
Mr. Fortune.
Fortune? Fortune's outside there? Jim, come on.
Right with you.
This is Miss Bailey's little office here.
And the door leading to the lobby outside is slightly ajar. Let's have a look.
Kent, look. There on the floor.
Fortune, all right. Yep,
caved in just as he reached the door. Miss Bailey heard him fall, opened the door, and there he was.
Is he dead?
No doubt of it. He's dead, all right.
How on earth did he get out here?
Something wrong about all this. Just doesn't make sense. Are you sure?
You're going to ask me again if I'm certain he came through my office this morning to get to his own. I tell you he did. I'm sorry you've got to take my word for it, but you must believe me.
Let's try to get this straight. Mr. Fortune comes through your office about 20 minutes ago and goes into his own. Now, the only way of getting to his office is through yours. And that's the only way he can get out again.
Right. You saw that for yourself.
You were in your office all the time, and you didn't see him come out again.
He didn't come out, I'll swear to that.
Well, then how did he get out here? And how was he murdered?
If we could answer those questions, Kent, we'd have the solution to this whole case. There's only one thing to do.
Huh? What's that?
I'm going to call police headquarters and have Inspector Neely come over here at once. If anyone can find an answer to this riddle, he's...
All right, now let me get a full-length shot of him. Okay. Will you photographers quiet down for just a minute?
Now, when did you people discover the body of Mr. Fortune?
About 10 minutes ago, Inspector Neely.
Couldn't have been more than that. Yeah, we'll soon get to the bottom of this. Mr. Van Doren, I'd ask you to close the bank for the rest of the day. Lock all the doors and keep your employees here. We'll want a question.
Miss Bailey, will you go out and...
Just a minute, please. I want Miss Bailey to remain here.
Oh, Inspector, please. I don't want to get mixed up in any murder. All I know
We'll find out all you know in a little while, Miss Bailey. Meantime, don't worry. It's our job to help you, not to harm you.
I'll telephone outside and have the bank closed.
Inspector, do you mind if Miss Lane and I telephone the Daily Planet?
Yeah, we can get an exclusive on this story.
Well, that'll be all right, I guess. Good. Lois, will you call Editor's wife?
Right, Clark. Miss Bailey is there. Phone out to me. Yes, there's one. And call Mr. Fortune.
Now, Kent, let's see what the medico has to say. All right. Doc, what about our friend Fortune?
Died instantly, Inspector. Single knife wound to the heart.
Yes?
Can't tell much more than that without an autopsy.
How long has he been dead?
Hard to say. Rigor mortis hasn't started to set in at all. An hour, maybe a little longer.
Well, according to the story I get, he must have died during the last 40 minutes. Does that check?
Check's all right.
Good. You boys finished taking your news pictures?
Just gotta get one more picture, Inspector.
All right.
Okay, you can have them.
All right, you men remove the body. I want these officers clear. Logan, Fitz, you go on down to the bank and check the stories of every employee down there. The rest of you men clear out. Don't want anyone in here now but Mr. Van Doren and Mr. Kent and Miss Lane and Miss Bailey and myself.
All right, boys, let's go.
All right, go ahead.
White's got the story, Clark. He's got an exclusive on it.
Oh, great. Well, Inspector. Kent, we're going to get to the bottom of all this right now. I want you people to show me exactly what happened when you found Fortune's body. Mr. Van Doren?
Well, Kent and Miss Lane came to me about an hour ago and said they suspected Mr. Fortune had something to do with the disappearance of the freight car.
You mean the freight car carrying the $5 million in gold for your bank here?
Yes. And, by the way, have you uncovered anything on that yet?
Give us time, Van Doren. Give us time.
I'm afraid you'll have to be Superman to solve this case.
Sir, if Lane or Superman really existed, I'd call him in on this case without a minute's hesitation. Well, go ahead, Van Doren.
Well, I went into Fortune's office, and Fortune wasn't there.
Yes?
The peculiar part of that was that Fortune could not have gotten out of this office without passing through mine. And I never saw him come out.
You never? Very clear. I see. Go on.
Then suddenly Miss Bailey came in, stared at us in a strange way, and then fainted.
Now, why did you faint, Miss Bailey?
Well, I'd been sitting at my desk in the outer office when I heard a knock at the door.
Yes?
I said, come in, but nothing happened. And I went to the door and opened it, and there was Mr. Fortune lying on the floor, dead.
And then you came in here to tell Mr. Van Doren and then fainted.
Yes, that's right.
Well, then what happened? Show me now exactly what you did. Mr. Kent. We brought Miss Bailey, too, and she told us about Fortune. Mr. Van Doren and I went into the outer office. Well, all right. Let's go. Just a minute, Miss Lane. Did you come, too?
Oh, no. I stayed here in this office with Miss Bailey.
Then you and Miss Bailey remain here now.
Yes, sir.
I want to get a picture of exactly how everything happened. Now, Kent, let's go into the next office. All right. Mr. Van Doren and I walked into the outer office. Yes? Miss Bailey's office, that is. Oh. And when we got here, we looked around.
And then Kent noticed that the door was ajar.
Yes. You mean the door leading to the lobby?
That's right. So we opened the door, and Mr. Fortune, lay at our feet.
I see. In other words, this whole mystery seems to hinge on whether or not we can be sure that you did not see Fortune leave his office, Mr. Van Doren.
I give you my word, I did not see him go out. I couldn't have missed him if he had.
There was only one way he could get to his office. He'd come through this office here, Miss Bailey's, through your office, then into his home.
That's right, Inspector.
And then to get out, he'd have to reverse that procedure. I think we can check your story, Van Doren, by talking to Miss Bailey. If she didn't see him come out, then we'll know for sure that he must have gotten out some other way.
But there is no other way, Inspector.
Oh, we'll worry about that when we come to it. Let's go back into your office, Van Doren, and check Miss Bailey's story.
I will. I assure you, Inspector, I was in my office every minute of the time, and I'd have seen Mr. Fortune if he... Oh, Miss Bailey, the inspector would like...
Where are they? Right. Look in Fortune's office.
Okay.
Well?
Oh, they're not in here. Lois! Miss Bailey! Where are you?
Oh, but look here, they couldn't have left here. The three of us were in the outer office all the time. There's no other way of getting out.
How about the window?
It's a 4-story drop, Kent.
What?
And there's no fire escape.
But do you mean to say Lois and Miss Bailey have disappeared too?
Now, look here, you men. This is... Why, it's fantastic. Maybe it is. But the fact remains they're not here. They've vanished. Just the way Mr. Fortune did. Just the way that freight car did. If you can figure this one out, Inspector, then I'll... Well, by jingo, I'll start believing in Superman.
What is the solution to this strange riddle? Could Lois Lane and Miss Bailey have vanished into thin air just as Mr. Fortune did? Will they reappear as Mr. Fortune did? And what can Superman do to find the missing girls? Be sure to listen to the next thrilling episode of our story with Superman.
And remember, tune in the next thrilling installment of the transcription feature, Superman.
Up in the sky! Look! It's a plane! It's Superman!
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine. Presenting the transcription feature, Superman!
Up in the sky! Look! It's a plane! It's a plane! It's Superman!
And now, Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with physical powers far beyond those of mortal men, and who fights a never-ending battle against crime and injustice, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper. Mystery and adventure fill the life of Superman these days, for he is now involved in one of the most baffling riddles of his career. In our last episode, we heard how he and Lois went to see Van Doren, president of the Metropolis National Bank, and told him they believed his secretary, Mr. Fortune, was responsible for the vanishing of a special freight car carrying $5 million of the bank's money. Van Doren went into Mr. Fortune's office and found that the secretary had disappeared also. Then, the oddest thing of all, Mr. Fortune's body was found outside the office of Miss Bailey, Van Doren's receptionist. But the mystery had only begun. Inspector Neely was called, and as he was investigating the case, a very strange thing happened. This whole mystery, Mr. Van Doren, seems to hinge on whether or not we can be sure you did not see Mr. Fortune leave his office.
I did not see him go out. I couldn't have missed seeing him if he had, Inspector Neely.
Well, we can check your story, Van Doren, by talking to Miss Bailey. To get out, he'd have to come through her office here. If she didn't see him come out, then we'll know for sure that he must have got out some other way.
But there is no other way, Inspector.
Well, we'll worry about that when we come to it. Let's go back into your office, Van Doren, and check Miss Bailey's story.
Very well. I assure you, Inspector, I was in my office every minute of the time, and I'd have seen Mr. Fortune if he... Oh, Miss Bailey, the inspector would let... Where are they?
Look in Fortune's office.
Okay. Oh, they're not in here. Lois, Miss Bailey, where are you?
If they couldn't have left here. The three of us were in the outer office all the time, and there's no other way of getting out.
How about the windows?
It's a 4-story drop, Kent, and there's no fire escape.
But do you mean to say Lois and Miss Bailey have disappeared, too?
Right. Fantastic. Well, maybe it is. But the fact remains they're not here. They've vanished just the way Mr. Fortune did, just the way that freight car did. Now, if you can figure this one out, Inspector, then I'll... Well, by jingle, I'll start believing in Superman.
I'm beginning to think this may be a job for Superman.
Oh, stop talking nonsense, Kent, and let's try to figure this thing out. I'm beginning to think I'm going crazy, what with freight cars and people vanishing all over the place.
Well, whoever's behind all this, we can be pretty sure he's a mastermind.
Let's have a look at those windows, Van Doren.
All right.
Well, no fire escape, just as you say. They certainly couldn't have dropped 4 stories to the yard below. Kent, you suppose... Kent?
Now, he's not here. Yet he was standing behind us only 30 seconds ago. I'm going crazy. There's no doubt of it. Now I'm going stark raving mad.
Now, take it easy, Van Doren. Those three people must be around here somewhere. Lois Lane, Miss Bailey, and Kent. Kent, I imagine, just stepped out for a minute. Let's go and see. Kent! Why, Kent! Oh, Kent!
Inspector Neely said Lois and Miss Bailey couldn't have fallen 4 stories to the street below. Now, then, if they're not in the office, there's only one place they could have gone. And that's up 1 story to the roof above. I'll just go up these steps leading to the roof and have a look around. No, it doesn't seem... Wait. 3 men out there on the roof. And Miss Bailey. What? They're carrying Lois to the next roof. Lois is unconscious. This is a job for Superman.
You! All of you! Stand where you are. Don't move. Who is this guy?
It looks like he's going to a masquerade or something.
Well, whoever he is, I'm getting out of here.
Get out of the next group, Billy. Think you'll get away. I said stand where you are and don't move.
Yeah? Well, roll this one off your chin, big boy.
Oh, no.
Okay.
That's where to handle you so as to knock your heads together. There. Now to catch the Bailey woman before she gets off that other roof. After her, quick. Up, and away.
Stay away from me. I've got a gun. I'll shoot.
Put down that gun.
They don't hurt you. Why don't you fall down? You're not human. You're not... Oh.
Made it again. This time I don't think she's faking it. Hello. There come Neely and Van Doren. Must have heard the commotion on the roof and the shots. I'd better get out of here. Up. Now, Miss Bailey, here at police headquarters, we have ways of making people tell us what we want to know. So you'd better talk.
Sorry, I don't know a thing. Not a thing.
May I say something, Inspector?
Certainly, Kent.
Listen, Miss Bailey. Lois Lane is now in a hospital suffering from shock and that crack you gave her over the head. But she's entirely conscious and knows what happened to her. She says you asked her to get you a glass of water. And when she turned her back, you came up behind her and hit her over the head.
How can she prove I hit her if her back was to me?
She heard you come up behind her and turned her head just as you struck. When she came to, she was on the roof. And those men were removing a rope that had been tied around her waist. Now, it's very obvious that after you knocked her out, those men lowered a rope from the roof to the window, and both you and Lois Lane were hoisted up that way.
All right, so I did it. So what?
May I say a word here, gentlemen?
Well, if you can make Miss Bailey talk, Mr. Van Doren, I wish you would.
I've said all I'm going to say.
Miss Bailey, you worked for me for many years. So does Mr. Fortune. He's dead now, and somehow you seem to be implicated in his death. So you'd better clear this mystery up for us. Tell us how Fortune was murdered and how his body was taken out of that room without my seeing it.
Now, wait a minute. Let's get one thing straight. I don't know anything about what happened to Fortune. That's as much of a mystery to me as it is to the rest of you, even though I knew it was going to...
Just a second, Miss Bailey. You were going to say you knew Fortune would be murdered.
I wasn't going to say anything like that at all.
Miss Bailey, who is the boss? Ah, you react to that, do you?
What do you know about the boss?
The 3 men you were with on that roof have done some talking, too.
That so, Inspector?
Yes, Mr. Van Doren. Didn't take long to break them down. They told us that a certain unknown person called the boss is behind all this. A squad of my men are on their way to his hideout now.
That's splendid. Now perhaps we'll find out what happened to that freight car, how it vanished, and where the $5 million went to.
We'll know that when we get the boss. Now, these men didn't seem to know much about how that car was made to vanish. Also, they'd never seen the boss. Apparently, no one ever has. But you see, Miss Bailey, we're making progress. So I think you'd better tell us all you know. It'll make things much easier all around.
So, do I get a break when this thing comes to trial?
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Now then. Get all this in shorthand, Matthews. She'll sign it later.
Yes, sir.
Well, go ahead, Miss Bailey.
Well, I was working for the boss.
Yes?
So was Mr. Fortune. Neither of us had ever seen the boss.
Well, go on.
Well, we went to the hideout. He spoke to us over a loudspeaker.
Oh.
Sometimes he reached us by telephone at the office. That's the way it happened this morning. The boss telephoned me. He said Clark Kent and Lois Lane were coming to question Fortune.
Oh.
And he said he'd have to put Fortune out of the way. I asked him how he was going to do it, but he said not to ask questions. And then he told me when a knock came at the door, I was to open it, and I'd find Mr. Fortune lying out there dead. And then I was to go into Mr. Van Doren's office and faint.
Well, go on.
I was to arrange it so that Kent and Van Doren went into my office, leaving me alone with Miss Lane. What I was supposed to do after that, you already know.
Keep on taking this down, Matthews. Now, look. Why did the boss want you to spirit Miss Lane out of that room?
I asked him that, but he wouldn't tell me. If you can bet he had a reason, though. He always does.
You still maintain you know nothing, absolutely nothing, about how Fortune met his death.
Not a thing. You can't pin a murder rap on me.
Inspector. Oh, Jones. What luck.
No, sir, we went to the address those men gave us. The place was empty. All we found was a room with a loudspeaker in it. Huh? Faith wires to another room where there was a microphone.
Well, we'll watch the house.
Well, there's no point in that, sir. The boss knew we were coming.
What?
There was this note pinned to the front door.
Let me see that. Well,
what does it say, Inspector?
It says, better luck next time. And it's signed, the boss.
Some class to this new hideout, huh?
I'll say. The boss sure does things right. Maybe it's a good thing the police raided the other dive, huh?
Shut up. Horses get something to say.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Hello, boy.
Hiya, boy.
We seem to have had some excitement these past few days. Unfortunately, several of our number have been taken by the police. Fortunately, however, they know very little, so they won't be able to tell the police much.
I was kind of worried about that, boss, and glad to hear it's okay.
Gentlemen, I have called you here to discuss our next job. As you may have heard, the Metropolis National Bank is planning another shipment of gold. $2 million worth. Certain that we wouldn't dare attempt the same trick twice. The police have advised them to ship it exactly as they did the other, in a specially built freight car.
Well, you mean you're going to make that freight car vanish just like the other one?
No, this is what we will do. That train must pass over a deep ravine. There is a bridge.
Yeah, Rainbow Bridge. Sure, I know it. Boy, that's some drop. If you ever fell off that bridge, you wouldn't have a chance.
That's exactly what's going to happen to that train. We shall plant great charges of dynamite at the base of each column supporting that bridge.
Holy smoke.
The train will start to cross the bridge. When the locomotive reaches the other end, its wheels will trip a lever, which will set off the dynamite. The entire train will crash into the valley below.
Boy.
You men will be waiting nearby with a fast truck. You'll transfer the gold from the freight car to the truck and make your getaway. Simple, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. You had to get away with it all right. You know, boss, that's a pretty desolate mountain country there. But what about the people on that train, the engineer and the brakeman?
$2 million is worth a few lives. Plus that, I'm anxious to see the end of Clark Kent.
Sure, but what's all this going to do with Clark Kent?
Gentlemen, you can't see beyond your noses. Kent has been working on this case ever since it started. As I figure it, he'll certainly be aboard that train. Need I say more, gentlemen? Need I say more?
Well, it looks as if danger really is beginning to threaten. Have you solved the mystery surrounding the death of Mr. Fortune? How was he taken out of his office without Mr. Van Dorn seeing him? And have you found the answer to the riddle of the vanished freight car? Then be sure to hear the next baffling and thrill-packed episode with Superman.
And remember, tune in the next thrilling installment of the transcription feature, Superman.
Up in the sky! Look! It's a plane! It's a plane! It's Superman!
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine.
Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invites you to rocket into the future with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Stand by to raise shift. Blast off -5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. As roaring rockets blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
Rocket Cruiser Taurus from Central Spaceport Control. Rocket Cruiser Taurus from Central Spaceport Control. You are overdue on position check. Come in, please. Rocket Cruiser Taurus from Central Spaceport Control. Check in. Taurus, acknowledge. Great Jupiter, something's wrong. Hello, Spaceport Control to all stations. Disaster alert. Rocket Cruiser Taurus overdue and unreported. Begin search operations immediately.
As the harsh, clanging signal of the distress alert is flashed out into space, all emergency elements of the Solar Guard go into immediate action. Radar scanners on Venus, Earth, and Mars sweep the void. Rocket scouts and rocket destroyers blast off at full space speed, searching for a trace of the missing ship. Back in Spaceport Control at Space Academy, all elements are fused into one giant coordinated effort.
Rocket Scout 7J4 from Spaceport Control. Cover northwest quadrant Mars orbit. Maintain communications with 9J3 and 8J6 on your flanks. That is all. Weather Station 9 Mars from Spaceport Control. Maintain double watch on all radar scanners. Contact Rocket Cruiser Orion and Rocket Scout 6J5 in event you sight target. That is all.
Afternoon, Lieutenant Fremont. I understand you have orders for me from Commander Arkwright.
Yes, Captain Strong. Here they are. You're to alert your crew and prepare to blast off immediately.
What's that?
The Taurus, one of the ships that was bringing the children in from Titan Colony, is unreported.
Unreported?
Almost 2 hours overdue on its last position check. Commander Arkwright seems to think that the crew has been hit by the Titan disease. Now she's drifting off course somewhere.
Great galaxy, the children.
Exactly. They're absolutely helpless. And if we don't find the ship soon, they'll catch the disease.
If the ship isn't hit by a stray meteor first.
Well, we've alerted every ship we have. You'll be taking Dr. Lee with you. We're sending medicos on every search ship to inoculate the children with a new serum.
Right. Hey, wait a minute. According to these orders, I'm getting a replacement for Cadet Corbett.
I guess he's just recovering from the disease himself, isn't he?
Yes, but he's almost well. I want him along on this operation.
Well, you'll have to take that up with the commander, sir.
Well, don't worry, Fremont. I will, and right now. The Polaris unit is the best rocket team in the Academy, and it isn't going to be broken up if I can help it.
Well, if it isn't the hotshot CO of the Muff Brigade.
That's enough out of you, Astro. How's Tom?
Pretty good. He's sleeping, so you're just in time to take over.
Take over?
Sure, in case he needs anything.
Now, look, Astro, I've been scrubbing decks and polishing brass till I'm blue in the face. And if you think I'm going to play nursey to Corbett now, you're off your orbit.
Well, the doc said Tom should stay in bed and get plenty of rest.
Hey, how can I get any rest with you two yapping away like that?
Oh, hi, Tom. How do you feel?
Fine.
What's all the argument about?
From the way this Venusian hillbilly's been giving orders, you'd think he was the class representative or something.
As a matter of fact, Roger, he is temporarily.
What do you mean?
Well, the student council is meeting tonight, and since I won't be able to attend, I've appointed Astro to sit in my place.
You appointed Astro? What does that dumb Venusian know about student government?
Hey, fellows, it's Captain Strong.
Attention! Stand easy, boys. Tom, how do you feel?
Okay, sir.
Oh, why shouldn't he? Lying around the sack all day.
Oh? And how do you feel, Manning?
Huh? Why, all right, sir.
Then I don't think you've been working hard enough. Maybe you'd better scrub down the decks all over again.
Oh, no.
You and your big mouth.
And maybe you'd better help him, Astro.
Here, grab a mop, Junior.
Never mind that now. We'll postpone discipline until this operation is over.
What operation, sir?
The rocket cruiser Taurus, carrying 50 evacuated children from Titan, is missing. We've got to join in the search.
Hey, hand me my fatigues quick, Astro.
Wait a minute, Tom. Are you sure you feel strong enough?
Well, of course, sir.
Well, Commander Arkwright wanted me to replace you.
Oh, no. Well, Tom will be okay, sir, and we can spell him. Give him plenty of chance to rest.
How do you feel about it, Manning?
We gotta take Tom with us, sir. Talking to this Venusian hillbilly is no fun.
Well, I can do it, sir. Believe me, I can.
All right. I'll clear it with Commander Arkwright. But don't let me down. Remember, a rocket ship crew is only as strong as each man.
I can pull my load, Skipper. Don't worry.
Right. Then report to the Polaris with full space gear immediately. We blast off in exactly 30 minutes.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
Say, Spaceman,
I was talking to Astro the other morning down at the Space Academy mess hall. You know, Astro is in charge of the power deck on the Polaris, and that's mighty hard work. Well, anyway, when I caught up with him the other morning, he was having breakfast. Say, Astro, give me the lowdown. How do you keep up your steam working on that power deck?
Well, you see what I'm eating? Kellogg's Pep. Now, a lot of people don't realize the connection between work and food. What you eat and when you eat are important to how well you do your work. Now, that's why I tell everybody start each day with plenty of Kellogg's Pep. Pep gives you needed vitamins. Everybody needs vitamin D and vitamin B1 to keep in good shape. And Kellogg's Pep gives you a supply of both. Pep gives you lots of other food values, too. Food values that you put to work so you can do a good job. Now, that's why I eat Pep. Kellogg's Pep gives you more build-up food values than any other wheat flakes. And that's just what I need to handle the big burners down on the power deck. You spacemen take a tip from me. Sock away plenty of Kellogg's Pep. It helps you hustle, and besides, it tastes real good.
Well, you heard the man, spaceman. Tomorrow morning, eat Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep. Blasting off on a space-wide search for a missing rocket cruiser carrying evacuated children from Titan, the crew of the Polaris roars past the orbit of Mars, heading for the last known position of the lost ship. And in the crew's quarters, Tom undergoes a physical checkup by Dr. Lee, the medical officer accompanying them on the search.
Well, how about it, sir? Everything's okay, isn't it?
Yes, Cadet Corbett. You're getting along as well as can be expected. I suggest you get a little more rest, though. You overdone it there.
Well, I don't feel tired, sir. And I'm only standing 3-hour watches. Roger and Astro are covering for me.
You still need rest. Cut down your watches to 2 hours. All right, you may go. Check back with me again this evening.
This evening?
That's right, Corbett.
Oh, but Dr. Lee, I'm not that sick, honest.
I want to keep you from being that sick, Corbett. Frankly, I wouldn't have permitted you to make this trip. But now that you're here, I intend to see that you're not a drag on the crew.
Oh, well, very well, sir.
You may return to your station, but remember, maintain a 2-hour watch. No longer.
Well, Tom, what did Dr. Lee say?
Oh, the same thing, sir. I'm all right, but take it easy. He says any excitement would start the fever up again.
Well, he should know. So you'd better follow his orders pretty closely.
Gosh, I haven't been any help on this trip at all, have I? Everybody's been put to double duty because I haven't been able to stand my own watch.
Don't worry about that. We'll get along.
Well, how are the fellows holding up, sir? They must be pretty tired.
I'm afraid Astro is beginning to crack under the strain. Listen.
Rocket fields of the Academy to the far-flung stars of outer space, where space cadets training to be.
I see what you mean, sir.
Yeah, I'd better go down below and relieve him for a while. Think you can handle the control deck alone? Everything's on automatic.
Oh, it'll be easy, sir.
Tom, are you sure you're all right? You look kind of pale.
It's nothing, sir.
Well, I'll send Astro up here right away.
Oh, no, please, sir. He needs rest. I promise you, if I don't feel well, I'll call you.
All right, Tom. It's 0900 now. You'll be relieved in 3 hours.
Oh.
Yes, Tom?
Well, nothing, sir. See you in 3 hours.
Radar bridge control deck, check in. Radar bridge to control deck, check in.
Huh? Control deck guy. Go ahead, Roger.
What's the matter, Tom? Why don't you answer me?
Oh, I was doing something. Any news of the Taurus yet?
No, but I'm picking up something else on my scanner. A nice fat hunk of space junk.
Space junk. We on collision course?
No, but you better change our heading to make sure. I like to give these babies plenty of elbow room.
Okay, what's the course?
Hey, you sound funny. What's the matter with you?
Nothing. Come on, give me that change.
Okay, don't bite my head off. Set steering vanes 2 degrees starboard. Pass in front of the meteor.
Okay.
2 degrees starboard. Got it?
Yeah, got it. End transmission. 2 degrees. Whew. Awfully hot in here. Bastard. I wish I could shake the cobwebs out. Now, let's see. What did he say? Oh, yes. 2 degrees to port. Control deck to power deck. Check in.
Lower deck aye. Go ahead.
Standby steering rocket, sir. We're changing course.
Why? What's the matter?
We're passing too close to a meteor, sir. Roger wants more clearance. It's all right, Skipper. I made the corrections. Just give me a short blast.
All right. Standing by.
Ready? Now. That did it, sir. We're all set.
Good work, Tom. I'll have Astro relieve you now.
Right, sir. Thank you. Control deck out. Boy, I didn't realize how tired I was. I'll be glad to hit that sack. Control deck out.
Hey, Tom, are you space happy? You turned the ship the wrong way. We're on a collision orbit with that meteor.
What? Well, give me a new course, quick.
Too late. Hang on. Here she comes.
Roger, you're all right.
Yeah, no damage up here. We're lucky she only swiped the stern. How's everybody below?
Hold on. I'll check. Stand by. Control the power deck. Come in. Captain Strong, this is Corbett. Come in, please. Roger, there's no answer. Come on down. Hurry. They may be hurt. Captain Strong, where are you? Captain Strong.
Over here, Tom. Near the starboard rocket head. Turn on the emergency light.
Oh, what is it, sir? Are you hurt?
My leg, I can't move it.
Hey, Galaxy, Tom, what hit us?
A meteor. Are you okay?
Just a couple of bumps, and Dr. Lee's all right. He's trying to untangle himself from his bunk.
Okay. Give me a hand with Captain Strong. He's hurt.
Right.
No, Astro. Check the power deck controls first. Find out what the damage is. I can hold on another minute.
Yes, sir. Our main drive is cut out, but that might have been the emergency circuit breaker. I'll fire up the tubes again and see what happens. Rocket's firing okay. Uh-oh. Auxiliary power is gone, sir.
Then we'll have to operate the ship manually?
Yes, sir, and the airlocks, too.
Oh, great. This is all my fault. I didn't take the right heading.
Well, let's not worry about that now, Tom. Give me a hand. I think Dr. Lee better look at...
Captain Strong.
Tom, he's passed off.
We'll get Dr. Lee down here quick. Gosh, Astro, I feel like the lowest and most stupid earthworm that ever crawled. What a mess we're in now, and it's all my fault.
Stop using your tubes, Tom. It isn't that bad. Our rockets are still firing. We'll be able to get back to Marsport okay. And the radar bridge is working off the emergency battery.
Yeah, but look what's happened to Captain Strong. And we have to give up the search for the Taurus.
Well, it's just one of those things. Maybe you'd better get some rest now.
Oh, no, I couldn't.
Hey, here's Dr. Lee.
Doctor, how's Captain Strong?
He's resting, Corbett. I gave him a sedative.
Is he badly hurt?
Well, he's not critically injured, if that's what you're thinking. It's his leg. It's broken. Pain and shock made him black out. He'll be all right once we get him to sick bay. You've set a course back to Earth, haven't you?
Mars, sir. It's closer. We can make repairs there.
Very well. And now, Corbett, I think you'd better lie down for a while.
Oh, no, sir. I'm okay.
Don't you think you've caused enough trouble?
Oh.
Dr. Lee, I don't mean to be disrespectful, sir, but that's not fair.
Sorry, I didn't mean it the way it sounded, but obviously Corbett's weakened condition led to his error.
Of course, sir. You're right.
Radar bridge control deck, check in, quick.
Oh, what's wrong now? Control deck high. Go ahead, Roger.
I just picked up a ship on my telescanner. It's the Taurus.
The Taurus? Are you sure, Roger?
Yeah, positive.
Oh, great. We find the ship we're looking for, and we can't do a blasted thing to help us. Yeah, that's the Taurus, all right, Roger. And she's dark, just drifting without power.
Looks pretty bad, Tom.
And you haven't been able to contact her at all?
Not a peep out of her.
Well, how about the other search ships? Can you reach them?
Not a chance. I don't have enough power, and I'm draining the emergency batteries fast.
Yeah, well, you better shut down everything then. We can watch the Taurus through the viewport.
Right. Well, what now? That ship over there is carrying 40 kids. They need the serum. How do we reach them?
I don't know, Roger. Without auxiliary power, we can't use our magnetic couplers. We can't even open our main airlock to take them aboard. And they certainly don't have enough spacesuits to transfer through the emergency hatches.
But if we go back to Marsport, the kids may not last until another rescue ship can get back here.
I know. Hey, wait a minute.
Huh? Wait for what?
Never mind. I'll see you later.
Where are you going?
For a walk. I'll see you later.
A walk? That character really is sick. Radar bridge, aye.
Roger, this is Astro.
Yeah, what do you want?
Where's Tom?
I don't know. Isn't he on the control deck?
No. At least if he is, he isn't answering the intercom.
Funny. Say, you don't suppose he blacked out again, do you?
Well, we'd better do it.
Wait a minute. Here's Dr. Lee. Maybe he's seen Tom.
Manning, where's Corbett?
Huh? You too?
What?
Sorry, sir, but Astro just called me. He doesn't know where Tom is either.
I gave him strict orders to go to his quarters and rest. He isn't there.
Last I saw of him was about 10 minutes ago. He told me to cut my rocket power and drift next to the Taurus.
That's just about when I saw him. He told me he was going for a walk in Great Jumping Jupiter.
What's the matter, Manning?
Wait a minute. I've got a hunch that joker took a real walk for himself. Yeah, look out the viewport, Dr. Lee.
You don't mean that.
Look, there he is, in a spacesuit, using his oxygen bottles to blast over to the Taurus.
And that's my medical kit he's carrying.
Yeah, he's trying to get the serum to those kids.
Young idiot. In his condition, he'll never make it. He'll black out and go drifting off into space.
He'd better not, sir. If he does, we'll never be able to get him back.
Return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
Spaceman, being a cadet at Space Academy is a lot like going to any school. The cadets have to study and pass tests just like anybody else. Space cadets have physical training classes, too, just like you do. That's why you can learn a lot from them. Things to help you do a better job at school yourself. Now, breakfast is something a good space cadet makes sure he never misses. And you can just bet Kellogg's Pep is on that breakfast table every morning. Kellogg's Pep gives space cadets a supply of energy food to help them do their best in the morning. And Pep can do the same thing for you. You can work better, play better, and feel better if you put a bowl full of Kellogg's Pep under your belt every morning. Pep gives you essential vitamins, too. Vitamins you need to help you keep fit. Why, you get vitamin B1 and a whole day's supply of vitamin D in every single bowlful. That makes a difference, whatever you're doing. So, take a tip from the Space Cadet. Start your day the spaceman's way. Help yourself to the build-up wheat cereal, Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
Locating the missing rocket cruiser Taurus, the Space Cadets are seemingly unable to help the children trapped aboard because of the damage to their ship's power system. However, Tom, in a desperate effort to make up for his error, is blasting across the void separating the two ships in his spacesuit. While on the radar bridge of the Polaris, Roger calls him frantically.
Hey, Tom. Tom, come in. Answer me, will you?
Stop yelling, Roger. I hear you.
Then come on back here before you kill yourself.
Nothing doing. I'm almost aboard the Taurus now.
Tom, you're space happy.
Will you test your tubes? I'm busy.
But suppose you pass out again.
I'll have to take that chance. I've got to get this serum to those kids.
We can do that, Tom, Astro and me.
Look, will you close your face? I haven't time to argue with you. Besides, you're wasting power.
Let me talk to him, Manning. Hello, Corbett. This is Dr. Lee.
Oh, yes, sir.
As your superior officer, I'm ordering you back to the Polaris. Hello, Corbett. You hear me? Acknowledge. Corbett, come in.
Great galaxy, I knew it. He passed out.
Did he, can you see him?
No, he's behind the Taurus now.
Well, there's nothing we could do now to help him. We'll just have to wait and hope for the best.
Roger. Yeah, what's eating you, Astro?
Haven't you heard from Tom yet?
I would have told you if I had.
Well, what are we hanging around here for? Why don't we go after him?
How? We can't open that jet boat lock, or we'd never catch up to him in just a space.
We're not helping him just sitting here.
I rather doubt that Cadet Corbett needs help, Astro.
Huh? What do you mean, Dr. Lee?
Look up the viewport here. There's a light aboard the Taurus.
Jumping Jupiter.
Rocket Cruiser Polaris from Rocket Cruiser Taurus. Come in.
Hey, that's Tom's voice.
Tom, is that you?
Not my ghost, Junior.
But I thought something happened to you. I mean, well, you didn't answer him.
I cut out. I didn't want to acknowledge Dr. Lee's order to come back. Listen, we didn't roll in good shape, aside from being cold and hungry. I inoculated every one of them with a serum.
You did? What about the crew?
Oh, pretty sick. They caught the type of disease all right, but they had the foresight to close off all the hatches. They quarantined themselves so the kids wouldn't get it. I've inoculated them, too.
Good work, Tom.
Now, I think we'd better get them to Marsport as fast as we can. If one of you characters will pop on a spacesuit and help me, we can get this ship underway.
Good idea, Tom. I'll keep Astro here on the Polaris with me. Dr. Lee can help you.
Okay. If you think the old pill pusher knows enough about rockets.
I'll answer that, Manny.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Corbett. This is Dr. Lee.
Doctor. Yes, sir.
For your information, this pill pusher is as good a rocket man as you are a doctor.
Yes, sir.
And in view of your actions and their end result, I suggest...
Yes, sir.
I suggest we ignore the entire affair. Just be thankful Captain Strong is still asleep.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So I'll join you in 5 minutes, Corbett, and I'll show you how a pill pusher can push a rocket.
Right, sir.
And here you are, Manning. Take over. I'll see you back on Earth.
Oh, brother, you really got out of that one easy, Tom.
I'll say. He isn't a bad guy at all. Too bad he isn't 20 years younger. He'd make a swell space cadet.
Don't miss the next action-packed adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, on Tuesday, when the crew of the Polaris trails a stolen cargo through the void and are victims of a double cross in space. Tune in, same time, same station on Tuesday for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the Build-Up Wheat Cereal. Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in today's cast were Jan Merlin, Al Markham, Edward Bryce, and Louis Van Rooten. Today's program was written by Hal Rine, directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Beck speaking.
Tired of the everyday routine? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all?
We offer you Escape. Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
It all started on the bus just outside of Dallas. The sailor who had snored beside me since Memphis got off, and the big fat guy got on. He overflowed into my half of the seat, and for sound effect, he ate one apple after another. He must have bought them by the sacks. Hey, fella, do you mind? My top coat?
Oh.
I'd like to have it pressed, but I prefer a tailor to do it.
No.
I pulled the coat out from under him. He'd smashed my carton of cigarettes almost flat. From then on, I held the coat in my lap. In my mind, he was symbolic of everything connected with this trip and with my life. Second-rate, middle class, mediocre. I was on my way to Hollywood. Yeah, I'm an actor. Under personal contract to Henry Slafta, a big director. Oh, it sounds impressive, but it isn't. It's one of those insignificant stock contracts with short options and shorter dough. I should have turned it down, but I was flat broke, on my heels. That's why, when I found the money, I did what I did.
Okay, folks, we're stopping here for 15 minutes.
Another stop, chance to stretch. Well, I had a cup of coffee and a spud nut in the depot, and I was starting back to the bus when I saw him, my apple-chewing friend. 2 men with cop written all over them were leading him out of the bus. It was a pinch. I wondered why they'd picked him up. I really didn't care why they took him as long as he didn't come back. Now I had the seat to myself. But he'd done me a final courtesy. He'd knocked my top coat onto the floor and walked on it.
Okay, everybody on, let's go.
From then on into El Paso, he was the topic of conversation.
He didn't look like a criminal to me. My dear, didn't you hear what the bus driver said? The man's a counterfeiter, one of the smartest ones in the country. The police have been after him for ages.
Counterfeiter? How exciting. I must get off at El Paso and send a postcard back to man. Won't you be thrilled for me?
Counterfeiter. Well, that's the last thing I would have pegged him for.
El Paso.
El Paso. And Hollywood still 24 long hours away. Well, economy or no economy, I wasn't going to go on. I was dead tired, saddle sore from 3 days and nights on that bus. So I switched my ticket to the following day, and I hunted up a cheap hotel. The bellhop there was full of helpful ideas on how I could spend the evening.
Well, how about Juarez, mister?
Juarez, huh?
Yeah, old Mexico, just across the International Bridge.
Oh, yeah. I'd forgotten that this is a border town. No, thanks. I just want to get some sleep.
Sure, mister. It's up to you.
I tipped the kid and stretched out on the bed. I dug in my pocket for a cigarette, but I was out, so I reached into my topcoat for the carton. That's when I found it. A package of money. A lot of money. All in 50s and 100s. Nice, clean, fresh bills. I counted them fast. $15,000 worth. So that's why I found my coat on the floor of the bus. Fatso had stashed his homemade money in my pocket. Why, the lousy... I'd fix his wagon, planting it on me. Operator, give me the FB... No, never mind. Wait a minute. Why should I? If I turned it in, I might get involved, and I couldn't afford to. When I got to Hollywood, Hollywood. Boy, what an entrance I could make into that town if all this dough were only real. I could just picture the look on Henry Slafta's face if I flew into Hollywood with a new wardrobe. Stopped at the Ambassador, took a suite, made a big splash. Yeah, if only the dough were real. Well, I couldn't sleep now. I was too stirred up, so I took a shower and changed my clothes and went out. I didn't have anything particular in mind, but since the hotel was near the International Bridge, I went over into Juarez. And I wasn't quite sure why I did it, but in my pocket was one of the $50 bills. I went up and down the cheap main drag, sampling tequila and brushing off vendors of Hirachis and leather dolls, just like the rest of the tourists. But all the time, that $50 bill was burning a hole in my pocket. It was in a small bar, a crummy place called El Serape, that I finally took a chance. I'd had a couple of tequila daisies, and each time I'd given the waiter a half a buck. This time I handed him the $50 bill. I held my breath. And suddenly, I knew I'd been a fool. He didn't put it in the cash register as he had the other money. Instead, he went down to the end of the bar and handed it to a man sitting there, obviously an American. He took it, looked at it, and then had the waiter point me out. I got up out of the booth and started for the street, but the American caught me at the door.
I'm Chuck Rice. I'm the manager.
Yeah. Hiya.
You give this $50 bill to the waiter?
Yeah. I guess I forgot to wait for my change, huh?
You don't want to go around forgetting money like this. Just visiting?
Yeah, tourist.
You know, you're taking a big chance. You're setting yourself up like a pigeon.
Well, what are you talking about? What do you mean?
Don't get excited, amigo. This is border town. That's all. The wrong people might get the idea that you're carrying more bills like this.
Yeah, well, I'm not.
Yeah, sure. But if you were, I could put you in touch with most anything. Maybe a little gambling. We could fix you up with little games. Anything you want to buy, I can get it for you.
No, I don't want to buy anything. But suppose I wanted to sell something.
Sell? That's a little tougher. I'd have to see a sample.
You got it, mister, right there in your hand. I was taking a crazy chance, but I've kicked around Broadway long enough to know a contact man when I run into one, and Chuck Rice was definitely shady. He stood there scowling, turning the bill over and over in his hand.
Oh, so that's why you wanted to walk out on your change, huh? Thought I had it spotted. You got more like this?
Yeah.
On you?
No, I'm not that much of a pigeon.
How much more?
Enough.
You want to dump it?
Maybe, with the right kind of a deal.
Here's your 50 back. I don't know from nothing about this kind of commodity.
Well, I didn't pay for the drinks.
It's all right. It's in the house. Your money's no good here.
I took the 50 and put it in my pocket. I shrugged and hoped my indifference went over. I was almost to the street when he called after me.
Hey, amigo.
Huh?
I just wondering. How much you got?
Why?
Well, if you got enough, maybe Nieves would be interested.
Nieves? Who's Nieves?
Down here, we don't ask questions like that. You go to the cab stand on the corner. Ask for Miguel. Tell him you want to see Nieves. Tell him Chuck Rice sent you. Only this time, amigo, if you want to do business, you better have the dough on you.
Miguel. Hey, I'm talking to you. What's the idea? You keep going around in circles.
Can't sabe, senor.
Can't sabe my foot. I want to go to Nieves.
Si, senor, si, Nieves.
Well, let's get going. Never mind the sightseeing. Miguel was driving down dark back alleys and dirt roads. I couldn't tell which direction we were going, and I'm sure that was the idea. But we were getting further and further out of town. I was beginning to wish I didn't have the money on me. But I hadn't gone back to the hotel for it when Miguel suddenly pulled off the road into a ruddy gopher-hole courtyard of a broken-down hacienda. It was littered with debris. I stumbled over a keg. His squeals woke a bunch of chickens roosting on a fence. And then I saw her. She was lying in a canvas hammock, one bare foot hanging over the side, deep in the enjoyment of an oversized cigarette. She seemed asleep except for the rhythmic puffs of smoke. She never opened her eyes all the time I was there. Nieves?
Si.
Chuck Rice sent me. He thought we might be able to work out a deal. I got some money. I want to sell it. Chuck Rice said that you might handle it. You hear me?
Si.
I got $15,000 American in 50s and 100s.
How much you want?
What'll you give me?
How much?
Well, I figure 5,000 would be fair.
No touch.
What?
If that's all you want, I no touch.
Why?
Too hot.
Well, if you think it's worth more...
No touch.
Okay, no touch. Come on, Miguel.
Si, senor. Senor.
Yeah.
O'Toole.
How's that?
O'Toole, maybe see by.
O'Toole? Where's O'Toole?
Miguel, no.
Si, senor. Come, I will take you.
Well, your English is improving, Miguel. Maybe your sense of direction will improve, too. And it did. As the crow flies, so did we, straight to O'Toole's Dine and Dance, a gaudy tourist trap hypoed on the outside with neon signs advertising the best food and music in Juarez, while inside 5 Latin beboppers were making hash out of Embraceable You. Miguel okayed me to a squint-eyed character who reluctantly led me down a hall, up a steep flight of stairs, and we stopped in front of a door.
Come in.
Behind a huge red lacquered desk sat a handsome Chinese in a dinner jacket smoking a long black cigar.
Good evening. What can I do for you? A drink, perhaps?
No thanks. I came to see O'Toole.
Yes? I am O'Toole.
You, O'Toole?
As one of those cliques of nature. I wear my mother's face and my father's name.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean anything.
Think nothing of it, Mr. Smith?
Yeah. Smith.
Now, you have something you wish to sell?
That's right.
May I see the money?
Money? How did you know?
$15,000, as I understand it. How much do you want for it?
6,000.
You told Nieves. 5.
Nieves?
Oh, you're surprised. I know about that. Huh? Chuck Rice always sends them out to the country to see Nieves before they come to me. Now, let me see the money. All of it.
Sure. Here. Look, I'll take the 5.
I'll give you 4.
Oh, now, wait a minute. There's 15,000 there. You won't have any trouble passing it in Mexico.
I know that. I also know that when this kind of money turns up in this part of the world, it means only one thing. I am your last resort. Well, Mr. Smith?
Yeah. Give me the 4,000. He went to the safe, got the money, and paid me. I got out of his office. Well, maybe I should have held out for more, but he gave me the creeps. Besides, any way you look at it, 4,000's a lot of money. I could knock Henry Slap-his eyes out with less than that. Downstairs in the club, the floor show was on, when an Adagio team was going through its calisthenics. I was just passing the bar when she bumped into me.
Hello, Charlie.
No, I'm not Charlie.
Sure you're Charlie. You gotta be Charlie.
Go on, beat it.
Come on. Don't be a sucker. We're being watched.
Well, so what am I supposed to do?
Be smart. Buy me a drink.
Look, I told you, I'm not interested.
Interested in getting out of here alive?
What kind of a crack is that?
You see Squint Eyes over there by the entrance? Well, he's not the doorman.
Come on, look. What's this all about?
O'Toole. He wants back whatever it is he gave you.
I'll buy you that drink. Come on.
Make it scotch.
Yeah. Bartender, 2 scotch and sodas. All right. Now tell me why you're interested.
I'm supposed to knock you out.
You're what?
Those 2 drinks you just ordered. Yours will be loaded. And not with Romo quinine to cure your cold. Ever hear of knockout drops, tourist?
Yeah, sure, but I don't get it. What are you telling me for?
I don't know. Maybe because you're from my side of the border. Maybe because you don't look like the kind of scum that usually comes in this joint.
All right. So my drink's going to be loaded, and Squint Eyes is over to the front door to make sure I don't get away. I don't have much choice, do I?
Yeah, you do. I'm going to help you.
Help me?
After the drink hits you, I'm supposed to get you out the back door into the alley and then roll you.
Well, now that'll be a big help.
But I'm not going to. Quiet. Here come the drinks.
All right, what do I do now?
When I reach around you for the ashtray, they won't be able to see you. Switch the drinks. You drink mine.
Yeah, but how about
you?
you?
They don't expect me to drink it.
Yeah, but you...
No, switch them. Get it down. Drink it. In a minute, pretend you're dizzy. I'll help you get to the alley. And when you get there, you better run, brother. And run fast.
Squint Eyes had left the door and was coming toward the bar, so I did what she told me. After I'd gulped the drink down, I sat on the stool a couple of minutes, and I pretended to get dizzy. She helped me off the stool, put my arm around her shoulder. We were almost to the door, almost to the alley. It was just perfect, except for one thing. I was dizzy. My stomach turned over and over, and I passed out cold.
In just a moment, we will continue with Escape. But first, a lot's been said about the Sunday night entertainment on CBS, and rightly so. But take a look down the CBS listings during the entire week, and you'll find there's no let-up in the parade of all-star shows. Tomorrow, Wednesday night, and every Wednesday night, Bing Crosby, Groucho Marx, Burns and Allen, and Gene Hirschholt as the beloved Dr. Christian are heard on most of these same CBS stations. Dick Hames and the Andrews Sisters,
Jack Smith and Dinah Shore are also on hand in their early evening quarter-hour programs. Make a habit of listening to CBS all through the week. And now we return you to the second act of Escape.
The smells were the same. Beer, tequila, stale black tobacco. But the sound had changed. There'd been music before. My stomach burned and my head throbbed, and somebody was lying across me. I raised up, tried to focus my eyes, but I couldn't. Gradually, I placed the sound. It was some kind of a car, bus. No, a truck. I was lying on the floor in the back of the truck, and there was a man lying across me. From the stench of him, he must have been drunk for a week, but from the inert way he lay, he could have been dead. I pushed him off and shook him. Hey. Where are we going? What is this? Hey, come on, wake up, will you? Listen to me. Then I suddenly remembered the money. The $4,000. It was gone. I was clean broke. I'd been rolled all right, and by a dame who even told me before she did it. Then I saw the rest of them. The truck was a big van, and it was loaded, packed with the dregs of border town, a sodden human cargo. All of them filthy, bleary-eyed. But one of them looked awake and reasonably sober. Hey, you over there. You speak English?
Si, senor.
Well, what happened? What are we doing here?
Oh, we all fall drunk, senor. Oh, it's no good to fall drunk. Oh, you go to Hensler's.
Hensler's?
Sí.
What are you talking about?
Oh, caray. No es bueno. Oh, I have been there before. I should know not to fall drunk. Oh, 1 whole month I have been there. Ese lugar es muy feo. Oh.
You've been where before? Where are they taking us? Tell me.
To Hensler's. Oh, he's a very bad man.
Hensler's? Well, who's Hensler?
Oh, you're going to see, senor. You will see.
That's all I could get out of him. We were going to Hensler's, and it wouldn't be good. And it sounded like I was about to find out.
All right, you guys. Come on. The party's over. Hey, Miller. Move these crips along there. Come on. You guys don't look like no bunch of daisies, but we'll make you bloom, won't we, Miller?
He was a brute of a man, and he carried a .45 in a holster. He and the driver, Miller, herded us out of the truck like so many cattle. It was some sort of a road gang. I saw a sign blocking the road that read, "Under Construction, Hensler Construction Company." Well, I had no idea where we were, how far away from the border. The landscape was dry, dusty, barren.
Well, Gonzales, you with us again? Didn't we learn you not to get drunk, huh? Come on, you guys, step on it.
All right, quit shoving.
Come on, come. Hey, what are you doing here?
Yeah, that's what I'd like to know.
Hello! How many times I got to tell you to be careful where you pick up?
Now, wait a minute, Jay. Don't get sore before I tell you.
Don't you know we can get in plenty of trouble picking up the wrong guys?
I didn't pick him up. O'Toole threw him in.
O'Toole?
Shut up, you. What O'Toole wish him on us for? Little Hensler hears about it.
Yeah, well, O'Toole has already talked with Hensler. He says this fellow will not give us any trouble. He is an embezzler. The police are looking for him.
You're crazy.
He came across the border to sell some money he had stolen from a bank or something. He must be plenty hot. He was willing to drop 15,000 real dough for 4,000 cash.
Real dough? What are you talking about? That was counterfeit I sold O'Toole.
Listen, buddy, I don't know what your racket is, but nobody fools O'Toole about money.
But it can't be real money. It was counterfeit, I tell you. It had to be. Look, I want to see Hensler.
You talk to me or you talk to nobody?
But I got to see Hensler. I got to get back to Juarez.
Huh? Did you hear that, Miller? He's got to get back to Juarez.
All right, look, you can't push me around. I'm an American.
Oh, he's an American. Well, send this to your congressman. Okay, American. Get on your feet. Get a pick and start working.
Hensler Construction Company. Just another name for a chain gang. I never saw Hensler. He wasn't there. But in the next week, I got to know Jake all right. I got to hate him. He drove us from dawn till dark, digging a road bed by hand, pick and shovel, in the hot sun, in the dust, without rest. Worse than the physical torture was the thought that gave me no rest. I'd sold O'Toole real money. For now I realized I'd never really had any proof that the fat man was a counterfeiter. I just jumped to that conclusion. The bus driver... No, not the bus driver. A woman on the bus said that the bus driver said it, and it drove me crazy just thinking about it. Real money. $15,000. I'd had it in my hand and I'd thrown it away. I had to escape. I had to. There'd been a man in the truck who said he'd been here before, so he must have gotten away somehow. He could help me. You're the man that was here before?
I am Gonzalez.
All right, you got away the other time, didn't you?
I see. But I am back. And this time I don't try to go.
Well, how did you go? How'd you get out?
Well, there is a highway.
There is? Where?
4 miles, 5 miles. Many cars pass there.
Just 4 or 5 miles. That's nothing.
Oh. Maybe it sounds nothing to you, senor. But those are bad miles to go. Oh, caray.
Only 4 or 5 miles. Over that way, he told me. Through the ravine. Well, I thought about it all that day, and I planned that I'd try it that night. But when we got back to camp, I was too dog-tired even to eat. I just flopped on the hard earth and fell asleep. It seemed that I'd just closed my eyes when I was shaken awake.
Hey.
Huh?
Hey. Get up, American. Get on your feet.
Huh?
I got a little job for you.
Oh, leave me alone, Jake. I'm tired.
Get up! You're on overtime.
He was murderously drunk. He had a bottle of whiskey in one hand and his .45 in the other. So I got up off the ground. All around me, the men were sleeping. If they heard him, they didn't pay any attention. He marched me down to the road bed and threw a pick at me.
There. I'll start digging.
But it's the middle of the night. Look, I'm dead.
You gotta finish the road. Start digging, I said.
What are you picking on me for, Jake? Why me?
You're gonna start digging, or I start shooting.
So I dug. I dug till my hands were bleeding and my lungs were scalded with the effort of breathing. He sat alongside the road, knocking out that trip of whiskey and riding me every time I faltered. He was just mean drunk enough to kill me if I stopped. So I dug and I dug. Finally, I couldn't go on anymore. I was too tired to care. I dropped the pick and fell onto the road. My face was in the dirt. I lay there, panting, waiting for the bullet. When it didn't come, I turned my head, and what I saw gave me new life. Jake was sprawled out, dead drunk, and the .45 had slipped from his hand onto the ground. It was my chance. I hardly had enough strength left to move, but I knew if I didn't go then, it'd be too late. I'd never get away. I crawled over to him, and I got the gun, and somehow I got down the road and through that ravine, stumbled and crawled those hideous miles to the highway. And then I heard it, way down the road. It was a car. I ran out like a madman and flagged it down.
Monday, Usted?
Give me a ride, will you?
Oh, you're an American, huh? Going back to the States?
Yeah.
Well, hop in.
I leaned back against the seat, shut my eyes, and slept all the way into Juarez.
Well, here you are. You said O'Toole's dine and dance. Sure I can't wait for you?
No, thanks just the same, but I got some business to take care of.
Okay. Good luck.
$15,000 worth of business, and Jake's .45 in my pocket to guarantee the deal. I went around to that back door and slipped in quietly, and then crept down the hall and up the stairs that Squint Eyes had led me before. This time I entered O'Toole's office without knocking. Hello, O'Toole.
Oh, I didn't expect you back so soon. Sit down. Can I get you something?
Yeah, you can. $15,000.
Afraid I don't understand. We made a deal.
Why didn't you tell me the money was real, not counterfeit, huh?
Well, you seem to know what you were doing, and remember, you placed the value on the money. I did not.
Yeah, well, I've just revalued it. I want it back, all of it.
We made a deal, and I paid you, and I'm through with you.
And you rolled me.
How you lost the money I paid you is no concern to me.
All right, then look, then maybe this will be some concern to you. I took enough punishment to get this gun not to hesitate to use it. Now get the money while you're still alive.
That won't be necessary. How about 10,000?
Look, don't stall. 15.
But I should be allowed to realize some profit.
Hurry up, O'Toole. I haven't got all day.
I'll have to open this.
Then open it.
Will you take it in 10s and 20s?
Now, look, I don't care how you give it to me, so long as it's American money. Now quit stalling and get it. I didn't trust him. I expected any minute he'd pull something fast, but he didn't. He gave it to me. I never realized before the power of a gun. It makes short men tall and tall men strong.
Here you are.
Thanks. Now I could fly to Hollywood and have that suite at the Ambassador and throw a cocktail party, a big party. I'd show 'em. First, I stopped at the best men's shop in Juarez and got myself outfitted. An important English tweed suit, cashmere topcoat, couple of dozen shirts, and I threw away my old clothes.
There will be something else, senor.
I'll take that alligator suitcase, too.
Si, senor, but you must remember when you go through customs, you must declare the clothes you are wearing. I have to report this.
Oh, sure, don't worry. And these neckties?
Si, senor.
I paid him. It was more than I'd spent on clothes in 10 years. I put $500 in my wallet and stashed the rest of the money away in my suitcase. Then I went to the American Club for a good dinner. Now I was all set to make my entrance. All I needed was a plane reservation for Hollywood. I was just going through customs when he ran up.
That is the man. Stop him.
It was the clerk from the men's shop, gesturing wildly. The customs official listened, and then he came back to me.
I'm sorry, sir, but I have to detain you.
What?
Your wallet, if you please.
Oh, wait, I didn't buy the wallet from him.
If you please, sir, give it to me.
Okay, but it's just an American Hickok wallet, I tell you.
I'm not interested in the wallet itself, sir. Now we shall see.
There. You see? Did I not tell you? Look, all of it.
What are you guys doing with my money?
You admit this is your money, mister?
Of course it is.
And I'm sorry, you'll have to come with me.
Why?
Because, mister, all the money in your wallet is counterfeit.
Escape is produced and directed by William N. Robeson. Tonight we have presented Border Town by John and Gwen Bagney. Featured in the cast were Jack Webb as Evan, Bill Conrad as Jake, Ben Wright as O'Toole, Tony Barrett as Rice, and Jeanette Nolan as Nieves. Also heard were Ted DeCosia, Paul Frees, B. Benaderet, Jerry Hausner, and Harry Bartell. Special music was arranged and conducted by Del Castillo. Next week.
You were on a train from Rajahore to Calcutta. With you is a fabulous jewel, the most sought-after emerald in the world, in whose depths are mirrored terror and violence. And for you, there is no escape.
It's a proven surefire formula for better living. If we all work together to produce more per man, per machine, per hour, we all move together toward the benefits in living that are possible only under the American economic system. The better we produce, the better we live. For your free copy of the booklet, Miracle of America, write Box 10, Times Square Station, New York. Stay tuned now for Hit the Jackpot, which follows immediately over most of these stations. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
The American Broadcasting Company Radio Network presents Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed Space Patrol adventure, Buzz and Happy have been locked in a laboratory on the planet Venus. Outside the heavy door, the criminal mastermind Rolf Boger has shouted a weird threat.
Commander, is Boger kidding us? Can he really throw a bottle of acid through that solid door?
I don't know, but if he does, try to catch it. Keep it on the vibration field.
There's the bottle that came right through the door. Smoking rockets, the lab is on fire!
Hit that door, Hap.
Fire spreading, sir!
If that door doesn't give pretty soon, then we're finished.
We'll be back in a moment with the thrilling story, The Invisible Enemy. The United States has seen many changes in the past dozen years, all pointing to a still better way of living. Millions more Americans are working, earning more, saving more.
More young people are going to high school and college. More of us are enjoying the luxuries of life. Sports, radio, television, the theater, concerts. Church attendance and membership has climbed steadily upward. And, in addition to these material and spiritual changes, have come the miracles of jet propulsion, supersonic flight, antibiotics. The better you know America, the better the future looks. Write for the free booklet, The Future of America, Box 1776, Grand Central Station, New York, 17. Now today's Space Patrol adventure, The Invisible Enemy. Somewhere in the solar system there lurks a dangerous enemy. His name is Rolf Boger, and he holds control of an invention so revolutionary that the entire resources, enterprise, and courage of the Space Patrol are almost powerless to combat it. Commander Corey, in his first encounter with Boger and his criminal activities, succeeded in capturing Clayton Slake, Boger's accomplice and chief muscle man. As Buzz and Happy bring Slake aboard the Terra 5 at the Terra spaceport, the criminal smirks over his shoulder at the commander.
Get in that compartment, Slake. Why the rush to take me to the Venus Rehabilitation Center? Are you afraid Boger might rescue me? Is that it? Yes. We know that Boger has an electronic device that enables him to walk through solid matter, through walls of business. Sure, Boger can go anywhere he wants. He can help himself to anything he chooses. Money, government secrets, or, business, the Space Patrol. We're going to be sure he won't get used. Come on, yes, sir. So long, boys. All right, half up forward.
Slake sure doesn't seem worried.
No, that may be just a knack. Or he may be too ignorant to realize the limits of Boger's device.
Just what are the limits? If he can walk through solid matter as though it wasn't there, well, he can do just about anything.
Boger's motive is greed, I think. Sooner or later, he'll attempt something a machine can do, but Boger himself can't survive.
He'll destroy himself.
Exactly. He might take innocent people along with him. Blast off, Hank.
Well, we're cleared with space control, sir. We've got the green light for space lock number 3.
Okay. Close ports.
Close ports.
Fire jet.
Fire jet.
Up, chipping away.
As the commander's ship blasts off from Terra and eases into its flight orbit, Venus, two men in another spaceship intently watch their periscope screen.
That's Corey's ship, Boger. I guess I better get into my spacesuit.
There is no hurry, Doc. I got to compute his exact vector and then set our own course to intersect it.
And we close in, midway between Terra and Venus, right?
Yes. Here. Put these on just before you get into your suit.
What are they? Some kind of goggles?
They are electronic spectacles.
For what?
When we move in close to Corey's ship, all the matter in this ship will be vibrating at a very high frequency.
Yeah, I know. That's what makes us invisible.
Exactly. And ordinary matter will be invisible to us because it's on a lower spectrum, a lower plane.
These electronic spectacles fix it so I can see to rescue Slake from Corey's ship, ain't it?
That's right.
How come Slake and I never used these goggles before?
You have never been invisible before. You have walked through walls, but the field was at a low rate of vibration. You could be seen, and you could see.
Are you sure nothing will go wrong? I'll stay invisible?
Follow instructions. We'll go over it once more, just to make sure. Now, let's assume that this ship is now invisible, and I pulled alongside Corey's ship.
Yeah, the signal from you, I step through the hull of this ship into the Terra 5.
But first, turning your tilt control on your belt.
Yeah, naturally. Inside the Terra 5, I search for Slake. I give him the extra spacesuit I brought along, then we go after Corey.
You got it. When you have finished, Corey, spaceophone me, then come back aboard. All right, Doc, put your electronic spectacles in place. I'm going to make this entire ship invisible.
All set.
There. The ultra-vibration field is on. Our ship is invisible, even to Corey's view.
There's no way out of this compartment, that's sure. Hey, what's that? Something funny's going on. Where did you come from?
The hull of the ship.
Benson Brock.
Yeah, it's me. But calm down. Here, I brought your spacesuit. Put it on.
Sure, but how did you get in the ship?
From Boozer's cruiser. Right outside, waiting.
How'd you pull alongside without Corey finding out?
Boozer's ship's invisible. Just like you'll be when you turn up the field in your spacesuit belt.
Invisible?
Yeah. Boozer's using extra high frequencies this time. Guess he's got a lot of tricks you and I don't know about. Here, let me help you with your suit.
Thanks. Well, sure glad to get out of here.
We got a job to do first. We've got to finish Corey.
Well, I don't know about
Boozer's orders. How many are aboard?
Just Corey and the cadet.
Two of us can handle him. We'll take it by surprise.
Yeah? I tried that once. That's why I'm here.
This time there are two of us, and we'll be invisible.
We can't attack Corey while we're invisible. We'll pass right through him like you would through a wall or the hull of the ship.
Now, that's right. While we're invisible, we're as harmless as moonbeams. So we can sneak up on him. When we cut off the field control, that makes us solid.
Then we take care of him.
That's thorough. Come on, finish with that spacesuit. Oh, wait, I forgot your electronic goggles. Which? These things. You'll need them to see with when you're invisible. I'll see you how they work.
Well, Hap, we're past the halfway point to Venus, and no trouble yet.
Are you expecting any?
Well, I've been on the alert for spaceships. I thought Boja might make an attempt to rescue Slate.
Yeah, I think it's too big a risk for Boja to take. Anyhow, we can pick up another gorilla like Slate without any trouble. Hey, Commander, I've been thinking.
Yes, sir.
It'll be about 2 hours before we reach Venus, and by the time we hand over Slate to the rehabilitation camp, that'll be another half an hour.
Oh, you're hungry, is that it?
Me? Oh, no, not especially. But I thought I'd go back to the galley and get you something.
Good idea, Hank. Get 3 servings of 4J.
3 servings?
Yes, we've got a passenger aboard, you know.
Oh, yeah, Slate. I forgot about him. Well, how about the 5H pills?
No. And the crew eats, the prisoner eats, and the same kind of fowl we do.
Sure, Commander. I'll see that Slate is taken care of.
Watch him when you take the food into the compartment.
Oh, I will, sir.
In the small galley amidships, Happy scans a row of buttons, then presses one marked 4J 3 times in succession. Within a few seconds, the concealed robot mechanism is releasing the electronically cooked foods on the tray. Happy is so fascinated in watching the process that he does not notice an even more remarkable occurrence in the galley. 2 figures in spacesuits suddenly materialize behind him. Each holds a ray gun.
Get your hands up, Cadet. Turn around.
What? Not a yip out of you either, Buster.
Slate, how did you get out of the compartment? And you, how did you get aboard?
We'll go into that later. Where's the commander?
Well, I'll tell you. He was in a hurry to get where we're going, and it was so nice out. Well, he decided to get out and walk.
Listen, Shorty, get cute with me. I'll finish you right now. Now, let's have it. Where's Corey?
He could be almost any place in the ship. Try the bowling alley on the lower deck.
Give me one more chance, Space.
Got it, Rock. Can't you see it's stalling? Corey's probably at the controls waiting for his lunch. If the cadet isn't up there pretty quick, Corey will come back here to investigate.
Let's plug the comical cadet and go after Corey.
Wait a minute. That's the service for 3. Who's the extra lunch for?
It was for you, Slate. And I punched the button with my own little hand. Now, aren't you ashamed?
Now, listen, Cadet. No more fooling. Take 2 trays and go up forward to the control. Quietly. I get this, Cadet. Don't try to warn the commander. You'll be invisible and right behind.
Invisible?
Get up. Pick up those trays and get this.
Well, there you are, Hank. I was beginning to get a little worried. Here, I'll take one of those trays.
Oh, yes, sir.
That hot cocoa smells good. Have you fed Slate yet?
No, not yet, sir. I think I'll give him his tray right now.
Happy! What got into you? Why did you throw that tray of food?
I thought they were right behind me.
You thought what? Happy, what's the matter?
They're gone. I aimed it right where their head should be, but they're gone.
Who's gone?
Slate and that other fellow. They were in their spacesuits, and suddenly they vanished. I was standing there in the galley, watching the food come out of the robo-server, and suddenly I seemed to hear a voice say...
Put up your hands.
And there's... Commander, look, it's Slate.
That's right, my pal Brock has you covered, too.
Yeah, heave the tray right through it.
And you were here all the time.
Right behind the cadet. But we're not hallucinations, Corey. We're real.
And we're going to prove it to you. The hard way.
We'll be back to Space Patrol in a moment. A big part of Christmas, especially a big part of our Christmas cards and packages, are Christmas seals. The seals that fight tuberculosis. TB strikes one American every 5 minutes. But progress in the fight against TB since the first Christmas seal was sold has met a saving of more than 7 million lives. The Christmas seals we use on our cards and packages help bring the greatest gift of all, the gift of good health, not only to our friends but to everyone. This year, use the new double Christmas seals. One red, one green, the colors of Christmas. Answer your Christmas seal letter. If you haven't received yours yet, mail your contribution to your Tuberculosis Association. They'll see that you get your Christmas seals. Remember, your contribution is the important one. Thank you. Now back to our Space Patrol adventure, The Invisible Enemy. Buzz and Happy aboard the Terra 5 are transporting the criminal Clayton Slake to Venus. Undetected by the Space Patrollers, Rolf Boger maneuvered his own spaceship alongside the Terra 5, making it completely invisible by means of a special electronic field. The field also made it possible for Boger's accomplice, Benton Gruck, to step through the solid hulls of the ship and liberate Slake. Gruck and Slake suddenly materialized in the control cabin, taking Buzz and Happy completely by surprise. The two criminals, weapons in hand, are advancing on the Space Patrol.
Just stand where you are, Corey. Slake and I figure out the easiest way to handle it.
Who are you? And how did you get aboard?
Not that the information is going to do you any good, but I'm Benton Gruck. I got aboard from the ship that's alongside yours.
So Boger can make an entire spaceship invisible, even the viewscope rays, huh?
That's right.
It's going to be a big mystery what happened to you, Corey. Space Patrol will probably find your ship circling in space. I wonder how I escaped and how...
Wait a minute, Slake. Better check with Boger.
Yeah, maybe we better.
Gruck, to Boger. Come in.
Boger here. Did you get Corey?
Yeah, we're holding our ray guns on Corey and the Cadet now. How do you want to finish him?
Well, put them to sleep with the ray gun. Then smash their spacephone transmitter. And before you leave the Terra 5, open the outer airlock. And the air escape? Well, that will take care of them.
Okay, Boger. Hey, Corey, move away from those controls. I want you hitting them when you fall. Come on, move.
All right, Gruck. I guess you win this one.
What's the matter, Corey? A little weak in the knees, huh?
Well, my footstep, that's all. I probably stepped in some of that food Happy tossed around. He's scared, Gruck. The great Corey is scared. All right, have it your way.
Hey, what's that? What's happening to the ship?
Gruck! Slate! What is wrong over there? I can't see the Terra 5!
Gruck, I'm blacking out.
I don't know what's happening, Corey, but I'm gonna get...
Grab Slake, Happy. Gruck's folded.
Yes, sir. Slake's blacked out too, Commander. Ease him under the deck. I guess you must have hit the star drive control with your elbow when you slipped.
Yes, that's all.
A lucky accident. Hey, you did it on purpose. Hey, imagine knowing those controls so well you can work them with your back turned and make it look like an accident.
Now that we're in hyperspace, Boger can't find us.
Yeah, we've got two of his men.
Get those spacesuits off of them before they revive. I don't want to have to search this ship for invisible men.
Yes, sir. I've got our hyperspace vector figured out, sir. We'll be cutting back into regular space in a few minutes.
Good. I think Grock's coming around now. Grock, snap out of it. Grock, can you hear me?
What happened?
You're in hyperspace. You're as invisible to your pal Boger as you were to us.
Hyperspace? Stardrive. We got away from Boger by kicking into Stardrive. Where's Slake?
He's locked up back out.
Yeah. Instead of losing a cook, now we've got two.
And we're going to have three, Grock. They're going to help us. Where is Boger's hideout?
I don't know.
Don't give me that. If you've got the idea that Boger can rescue you, just forget it. Where's his hideout?
Probably got several.
I found this map in your pocket. A chart of a section of Venus. Now, what does this mark here indicate?
I don't know.
You're carrying around a map of a desolate section of Venus and you don't know what it is?
Well, maybe I'm going prospecting someday.
I'm going to jump the plane.
What do you mean?
If this map had nothing to do with Boger, you wouldn't be so evasive. Cap, we're coming out of Star Drive. When we pull out, set a vector for Venus.
At an altitude of several miles, Buzz scans the surface of the planet Venus, as projected on the viewscope screen, while Happy keeps an eye on Benton Rock.
There's a structure down there between two rows of hills, but no sign of any activity. How does it check with the mark on Brock's chart? It pinpoints it exactly. Brock, if you change your mind about talking, what is that building down there?
You're smart, Corey. You figure it out.
I have. Bolger knows that even if you don't willingly tell me what you know about him, I can get it with a brainogram. His first thought will be to rush to the most important hideout that you do know about.
Yeah? Why? To wait for you to arrest him?
No. No, to destroy evidence and to pick up valuable equipment or money that he has hidden. That's it, isn't it?
No, you're way off. Way off.
We'll see. Happy lock Brock up in another compartment. I'll land the ship and we'll search that building.
With Rock and Slate securely locked up in the ship, Buzz and Happy land at Terra 5 a few hundred yards from the low, sprawling building in the Venus Hills. Now they stand before the heavy front door.
Probably not. Be a job to break it in. Bolger must feel that isolation is all the protection he needs out here. It is Bolger's place. Sure seems deserted, all right. Someone's in the next room, isn't there? It's empty. A bunch of filing cabinets. Some of us here. Through that other door. Come on. No one's in here either. Hey, look. It's some sort of a lab. There's no other door. Whoever came into this room is still here. Sure, there's no place to hide. Maybe we need a place there. Huh? Oh, the ultra vibration tube. Hey, he can be invisible. At the door. We're too late. We're locked in.
That's right. You walked into a trap, Corey.
It's Bolger, all right. He's on the other side of the door.
And the state from you is 5 million GUs away.
Let's hit that door, Hap. Yes, sir.
Listen to me, Corey. You are wasting your time. You can't break out of that lab.
This door has to get some time.
Yes, but you won't live that long.
What do you mean?
I have a bottle of acid in my hand. When I turn on the vibration field, I can hurt the bottle right through the wall into that room.
Oh, tricks, huh?
Yes, it's an amazing trick. Inside the room, the bottle will leave the vibration field and become solid again. It will crash and break.
And then what?
Just wait and see, Corey. Wait and see.
He cut on the field. Is Bolger kidding us? Can he really throw a bottle through a solid? I don't know, but if he does, try to catch it. There's the bottle. It came right through the door. Right through the door! Smoking rockets. The lab's on fire. Quick, Hap. You gotta break down that door. You! Hit the door, Hap! The fire's spreading, sir. If the door doesn't get pretty soon, we're finished!
Back aboard the Terra 5, Benton Rock sits on his bunk in the locked compartment, moodily contemplating his fate. At a strange sound, he raises his head, then leaps to his feet in amazement as a figure materializes just inside the bulkhead.
Bolger. Surprised about? Oh, Bolger, listen. Coy and the Cadet are searching your hideout.
Yes, I know. They came in while I was finishing up a few details.
You were here? Well, where's your ship? We didn't see it.
Of course not. I left the field on. It's invisible.
What about Cory?
I expect he and the Cadet are having a rather hard time right now. There's our friend, Slade.
2 compartments aft, I think.
That's time. Now, stand close to me. I'm going to turn on the field up high enough to include both of us. All right, Brock. Through the bulkhead. We release Blake, and then we get to my ship.
In the burning laboratory, Buzz and Happy are exhausted from their efforts to break down the door. Nearly overcome by smoke from the flaming acid, they prepare for another effort.
I'm only good for one more smash at the door, sir. From the smell of that smoke, that's pyronectic acid. If we can find the chemicals and neutralize it, I wouldn't know it if I saw it. I'll start looking through these cabinets. Oh, nothing here that's any good. No chemicals at all in this one. Just belts. Maybe we'd better take one last try at the door. Yeah. These belts, they're just like the ones Brock was wearing. Put one on. They can get us out of here. Yeah, I suppose you hasn't cut off that field transmitter. Better work fast. I'm going to give my belt a trial. I'll turn the control knob until I can put my hand through this cabinet. He's got it, Commander. Turn yours to number 4, Hap. Yes, sir. Got it. Okay, come on. Walk through the door. We made it. Cut the vibration control. Get to the front door. Be careful. We'll just do maybe around. Yes, sir. Okay, Hap. Hold it. It's clear, sir. Over there. Sam. Folger, Slake, and Grock. Keep back in. I don't see it. Doesn't look like they're coming here. Where are they headed? Probably to Folger's ship. The ship? The ship must have landed a long way off. It's got the invisibility field on. We didn't see it when we landed. Oh, sure. But we have to stop them before they get to the ship. We can't see it. We don't want them to see us first. How about making ourselves invisible? We don't have this special electronic spectacle stuff. Putting the spell control up a few notches would make us invisible, all right, but we'd be blind. How come? Probably because our optic nerves and the retinas of our eyes would be transparent to light. Without the goggles to rectify the light frequencies, we wouldn't do anything by being invisible. If we could get behind them and sneak up. That's our only chance. We're going to pass behind that thick clump of trees. We can make it to the field where we fit the close. Yeah, but provided they don't change their direction. Let's go.
How far is it to the ship, Woodger?
Oh, less than 100 yards. It's just this side of the big beanstalk.
Imagine being that close to a spaceship and not being able to see it.
Mm-hmm. You're seeing the oak right through the hull, Gruff.
One thing, sure, Woodger. We really took care of Corey. Look at the smoke and flames shooting up over that clump of trees.
Yeah. The laboratory is in an inferno by now. In a few minutes, the entire building will collapse in flames.
I gotta hand it to you, Woodger. Corey sure met his match this time.
There is nothing in our way anymore, gentlemen. Incidentally, I will have to board the ship first and cut off the field transmitter.
Why?
Too materialize the ship. Otherwise, you couldn't see to get aboard. And you would pass right through the hull.
Oh, sure, I forgot it. Look behind us.
What are you? That? I thought you said you'd finished.
Listen, Happy.
Yes, sir.
Folger, do something.
Let go of me, Corey.
Folger, help us. He's gone. Vanished. Hey, I'm through.
I've got enough.
All right, get a hurry to let you off. If Folger hadn't run out on us.
Maybe he didn't run.
Maybe he shut up, Brock.
Commander, you hear what Brock said? They might have run after weapons, and being invisible, he could pop up any place.
Yeah, you better let us go, Corey. Folger will be back with a blaster any minute. It'll work just like that bottle of acid back in the lab.
Yeah. Only this time he won't miss.
He's probably aiming at you right now, Corey. Point blank. What's that?
It's your pal, Folger. He's deserting you. Oh, an invisible spaceship blasting him. That's the strangest sight I've ever seen. I mean, it's the strangest sight I never saw. We'll figure it out later, Hap. Let's get these men back to the ship. Then we'll work out a plan to trap Folger. Yes, sir. And the next time he shows up invisible, if he's invisible the next time I see him, if I see him, I'll grab him.
A preview of next week's Space Patrol adventure in just a moment. At this particular time in our history, millions of young men throughout the country are faced with military obligations. If you are a young man between 17 and 18 and a half, you can start fulfilling your military obligation right in your own hometown by joining the National Guard. You can go to school or hold down a job at the same time. You will go on active duty only if your outfit is needed in a national emergency. But the Guard offers many advantages and opportunities for its recruits. These include extra income, learning new skills, pilot training, retirement benefits, and sports and social activities. Get the facts about joining from your local National Guard Armory. Now a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and Happy are in the Jupiter City atmosphere plant, searching for a powerful bomb hidden by the criminal Boger.
Commander, listen. Hear that?
It's close to us. Here, this way.
There it is.
I can figure out how to deactivate this thing.
10 seconds, Commander. It's getting ready to go off.
If this isn't the right control, Jupiter City will be blown off the planet.
Be with us next week for the thrilling Space Patrol story, The City of Hidden Doom. Space Patrol, created by Mike Moser, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson, executive producer Helen Moser. Other players were Norm Jolly, Ken Mayer, and Bela Kovac. Lee Zimmer speaking. Don't forget to tune in next Saturday at the same time for exciting adventure on Space Patrol. This program is broadcast to our armed forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.